Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 71 of our slow and immersive on mode run of Baldur's Gate 3. We're back again with Krusk, our level 12 rogue assassin and fighter champion, 8 levels in fighter champion, and Minthara, who we respect into the great Old One warlock. And you will see straight away in this video that there's a bit of a dissonance between what I'm doing on the screen and what I'm saying. And that is because, unfortunately, with this video, while trying to set up my sound, I messed up a little bit and I didn't record the microphone when I originally recorded this video. It is a 2.5-hour monster, so I was pretty gutted. On top of it all, I also didn't notice that at first, and after I uploaded the video to YouTube, I actually deleted the original video. So I can't do the original video and do a voiceover of that. So instead, I then kind of resigned for a few days to the fact that, okay, I'm just going to post this video. And it's a big one. It's a really, really good one as well. There was a lot of emotion in it. So I was gutted, but I thought, I'll post this with just no voiceover. However, today I worked out that I could actually watch the YouTube video itself because it's in 4K. Hopefully record that on OBS and do the voiceover as we watch. So, unfortunately, you won't have maybe quite the same emotion, but I will kind of go over what we were thinking. And here I just recounted the story, and as you know, in the previous episode we fought Saribok, as we kind of, we went through Act 3, basically we went through Rivington, we've gone through the lowest city, we've, I think rescued Council Floric at this point, we've destroyed the Golem factory, we've sided with the Thieves Guild in the Thieves Guild versus Centurim kind of debate. We also sided with Alim, right? And we killed Larorcan, I believe, right? So that's kind of where we were. Second. Give me a second. I'm getting connection issues. We actually have very fast internet. I'm not sure why it's being a bit slow. So that's kind of where we were, and we started, on a path now to endgame and to, tackling Orin. And we're going to tackle Gortash after that. So that was kind of, that's the story so far. And here, I was expecting to see Orin, straight through this door. I did decide to go with Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength because I felt that with the, making Strength our biggest stat will add a bit more damage to both of our, main hand and offhand, even if we have 2-weapon fighting. It will also increase our chance to hit because, in that fight with Saribok, all of that would probably come in handier than that one extra crit chance kind of point from Elixir of Viciousness. So I decided to run with Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength. It also helps us shove, that's why I looked at the shove kind of button here, but it's not that we shove all that often, so it didn't really matter all that much. Yeah, so here I kind of explain as to why I did that for the plus, what is it? Not +5, but +8 on every hand, as opposed to +5 from our dex too. So it's an extra +3 versus dexterity on to hit and to hit chance and to damage. Hang on, let me just sort out my internet quickly. Let's try this again.
Oi!
Keep going.
Citizen! Get me out of here!
Didn't expect to see Valeria here.
Citizen! Thank the gods you're here! My wrinkles are starting to chafe. As an officer of the law, I demand you free me at once.
Yep, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of see how to free him. Switch over to our
Get here and free
gloves.
me at once!
Switch over to our gloves of thievery. I think, yeah, I forgot to do that straight away. Yeah, gloves of thievery for the advantage. Here.
They're supposed to be locked up, not me! Get me out!
Thanks for freeing me so quickly. No idea what those Barlist Burks had planned with me, but those chains were starting to chafe. Though I do wish you'd figured this all out before I, put the blame for Father Lorgan's murder on that poor refugee. Well, at least it's over now.
Didn't do it for you. I did it to gain access to Orin.
Oh, well, I'd call you rude, but I have the misfortune of owing you my life. You gave these reprobates a proper seeing to. You clearly have what I don't. Courage, insight, heroism. The city needs you. I overheard these pigs talking. There's a Baal temple deep within the old Undercity that the cult is using. A century ago, it was destroyed by a group of heroic sorts. Let's hope history repeats itself, eh? This place is foul as piss. I'm out of here. Something good here, right?
There's a traveler's chest here. They're gonna quickly had a look at. Weird, it had this Valeria's snuff and all this stuff. But yeah, I was a bit confused by the gather your allies, but it did say here Valeria feels indebted to us for having saved her from untimely death. She and her city watch are prepared to support us in the final battle. Yeah, so would never have thought that she would be one of the allies. We got this traveler's chest as Valeria's hookah, Valeria's pipe, trunk bomb, Valeria's snuff. Not really sure what that's for, to be honest. Macedonian Memoirs, Volume 1, Investigator Valeria, but I didn't want to bother to read that book. I think we had enough happening. Small gilded chest here, also locked. This is a memoir describing in detail the visions of Baal seen by Sarevok Anchev after his death in the Baal temple centuries ago. The brethren often ask me, what was it like to die? They expect me to present the warring conflict, the humiliation of defeat against the honor of sacrifice. But once dead, it is impossible to think of oneself, of life, for you are in Baal's own embrace. Baal's domain is a red wasteland in a starless sky, halted in time before the collapse of the final sun. There I wandered, tasting the end of all things. I was dragged back from the precipice, bound to a living husk again by my mocking sibling. I resented it at first. I had forgotten how to breathe, to eat, all the animal functions of the petty who cling to life. But when I was cruelly resurrected, my faith was bolstered more through my death than it could be through life. I would bring about Baal's perfect finale, the melting of the crimson sun above the lakes of blood. It will happen. This world will be carved in his image. Pretty cool. I think this is basically his memoirs from, Baldur's Gate 1 or Baldur's Gate 2. I think it was. You guys told me in the comments that he was main villain in Baldur's Gate 1. I always thought it was Baldur's Gate 2, to be honest. His name kind of rang a bell. I don't think I've ever played Baldur's Gate 1, but to be honest, I don't remember. Maybe I did. I definitely played it after Baldur's Gate 2. That I certainly know. Yeah, and here I was a bit confused by the quest marker, because the quest marker had an area here that said, the Baal temple, find the Baal temple, I think is that quest marker. So I thought maybe one of these is an entry point. But it didn't matter, because we knew that there was an entry to some sort of temple in the Undercity here, with this kind of sign and with this door, so we decided to just go ahead and go here.
The vessel returns, most shamefully unleaking. Prove your faith.
Yeah, I thought the door would know that we are not an unholy assassin, like it would be able to tell, so that wasn't a good option here. I have proven my faith to the tribunal, so I have an amulet of Baal. Let me pass. Door.
You hold proof of faith, but to hold and deserve are different. How have you proven yourself in the Dreadlord's eyes?
Again, he wouldn't have believed us that we're one of Baal's unholy assassins. I'm pretty sure we'd know that. So we decided to take a slightly risky option with I slaughtered the murder tribunal.
Unorthodox. But a show of faith nonetheless. Walk in blood.
Pretty funny to hear that. But yeah, I guess. It was enough. So yeah, we're definitely ready. I think we just did the last check here with any items, consumables. I just kind of thought, yeah, we have everything. We still had a short rest left as well. We're obviously going to need to be careful with using that before we met Orin, but I was expecting Orin to kind of appear, anytime now.
Do we have a target?
Looking ahead.
To clean ourselves up before any cutscenes.
Watch my step.
Houston, let's see, yeah, 3 daggers on him. You can see Minthara here. Minthara decided to talk to us.
Are you ready to pursue our enemies? That is your gift to me, and we are bound together until it is done.
Thought this was bugged a little bit because that didn't make any sense. See here, I double checked the dialogue, but yeah, I think it's just something's bugged here. Yeah, I hope our bond will last beyond that. I felt like that was the best one. As you see, there's kind of an implication from number 3s and 4s in case the sooner we kill Orin, the better, or the sooner we get our vengeance, the better. Looks like there's supposed to be more dialogue there.
I hope so too. This bond we share. I believe it is Alulsreen. If that is so, it will last as long as we do. While Orin lives, I fear we will not last long at all, whether together or apart. We must find her and kill her.
So there was a parchment here. It says, to gain admittance to the Baal temple, you must cross the manslaughter chasm. But if you're weak, like this aspirant, the Farslayer will deny you passage. Defeat him or die. So there will be some sort of chasm. We're going to need to cross it. We know there's a Farslayer guarding it, and we need to defeat him or die. That kind of gave us a clue that, that there's something up ahead before Orin. Like there will be at least one more fight. So this Farslayer was kind of guarding access to her. There's this Grimlock verse. We found 2 parts in front of the door we just entered through. Here's E is for Elkin, F is for first murder. I thought it was for some riddle, so obviously we picked it up.
Give it a shot.
But here we decided to be very careful with these torches because there is that chasm. We were afraid of being ambushed. And in the log here, it did say Reaper of Baal Flowful spotted us in a lightly obscured area, but I couldn't see anyone. So it kind of confused me. Couldn't see anyone anywhere. Because I would have thought if they spotted us, the game should have entered a combat, I would assume, because he's red. And even if he wasn't red, though, he would have at least been revealed, so I decided to leave Minthara behind. Actually, yeah, I think I did decide to leave her behind and just snuff out the torch and kind of proceed, pull her up with us. And keep heading further down with Krusk. There you go, let Minthara kind of go and keep heading further down with Krusk while Minthara stays up top. But here we were spotted again. I guess we failed the perception check, so I think, there was a possibility of spotting that ambush. But here, the Farslayer of Baal Gislev, he was kind of all the way out there, really far away. Kind of confused me, but he was a level 11 ghost, AC 13. Got pretty decent stats, a lot of resistances. But he's focused conjuration. It's pretty clear he's a spellcaster, and he was really far away. So I thought he's gonna start slinging stuff at us, and we need to get to him as fast as we can. In the kind of our typical fashion of, alpha striking, the boss. I think most of the time that strategy works very well. In fact, I think predominantly that should be the strategy of choice. I did think about just dashing to him, because clearly that's one way. And I thought we actually could have gotten to him in 2 turns or so. But there were also these 3 guys that we looked at. So this Reaper of Baal Vernila, kind of 60 HP. They're all sanctuaried, which is really annoying. So you can't really attack them directly, just with AoE. You have to wait for them to break sanctuary and attack us instead.
Do not distract me.
I kind of thought, okay, what are our possibilities? Because we need to get to these guys, and we also need to get to this Farslayer as fast as we possibly can. We do have Misty Step on Minthara from the disintegrating boots. So I thought, okay, one possibility is to get up there. The Farslayer also did have Unstoppable. I think he has, 5 stacks of Unstoppable, which is pretty crazy. But it, you know, we did have that magic
Still on my
missile
feet.
from the Never Misser, and it's a 5-point magic missile, so it was possible to knock that off pretty quickly. We also have Scorching Ray with 4 hits, so we could have gotten his Unstoppable off with that. Kind of checking if how can Krusk follow Minthara? How can he follow up with her and jump? But he didn't look like he could. It wasn't really clear whether he could actually jump there or not, I guess. Because he does have, you know, that massive strength, so his jump is pretty crazy. He still has an action as well, so we're kind of wondering what do we do with that? You know, could he just dash and spend this whole turn moving towards the fast layer? He did have a potion of glorious bolting, but if we drank that, we would consume our bonus action, and you know, obviously we could then jump. So instead, we were looking for something that would take an action, and fly was an option.
Still breathing.
Because there's also a potion of fly, but there's also a scroll of fly, and in this case, it's actually better to use an action so that we could then use the bonus action for dash. So I think we end up casting Scroll of Fly on Krusk. Yep, it's 10 turns, and it's only for yourself, so you know, it's all about just maintaining concentration. There's no DC or anything like that.
Darkness is my home.
And yeah, the plan, I think that was a good plan. We go Misty Step, and then we either get his Unstoppable off, and then we maybe body block the Reapers of Baal here, essentially standing next to them so they're threatened and attack with a disadvantage. You know, or we could just kind of run. I was kind of debating whether we get up on this ledge, but I thought, yeah, it's better to get up on this ledge, get the high ground on the fast layer as well. You know, interestingly, we didn't pop our bonus action somehow on, you know, from that Misty Step. It's because Minthara wasn't in combat, so it seems like we refreshed the bonus actions. Here we go, went with that magic missile, and we even got an offhand on him. Yeah, so that hit him. Got his Unstoppable off, and then we decided to close in as far as we can with Minthara, ignoring these 3 Reapers. I thought that we would maybe break line of sight and they wouldn't be able to shoot at us. That was a possibility also, but we didn't want to lose the high ground either. I was just checking what is the best way. Like, we could have ran, because with the 2 dashes on Krusk, you know, he can move like an incredible distance, probably about there on the first turn. And then, you know, he would catch up with the fast layer on the second turn, I would have thought. But these guys are a problem, and I thought that if we moved through that area, because it kind of led down, it kind of looked like a perfect ambush spot, and because we spotted these guys, like, I kind of doubted that they would be the only ones, or there's a strong possibility they wouldn't be the only ones. And so, yeah, I thought maybe it's better to just stick to that side of the map, not trigger anything else on the, you know, on that left-hand side, and just, you know, stick together with Minthara in case, you know, anyone dies or whatnot. It's probably safer overall rather than dashing through the middle of that room. So we decided to just cast Fly. I also couldn't quite remember whether Fly required like a bonus action in and of itself. It actually doesn't. All it does is just allows you to fly with your movement speed, which we didn't have enough of, so we decided to dash with the, you know, with the bonus action. Now we had plenty of movement, 24 meters, but only 18 meters of flying. But we now had enough to kind of walk up to the ledge and then fly over that. Not enough, unfortunately, to get straight to, you know, to get right to the fast layer. But it's fine. We still had that action surge, although I think we decided to save it for later. But yeah, cross this chasm here. And yeah, I was hoping we'd break line of sight with those Reapers as well. Kind of wishful thinking,
Unleash
I think.
me.
Yeah, but Minthara whips out her sword, yeah, and went over to kind of body block these 3 guys, giving them a disadvantage at least on their crossbow shots. Yep. Unfortunately, it does put us in aura of murder as well. Right, he then missed his steps, which is really annoying. The trial begins, best me and pass or die. Yeah, at least didn't do anything damaging, but yeah, look, these guys get out of Sanctuary, just started blasting us, popping our Shield of Thralls. We did maintain concentration of flying, which was nice. The second bow went invisible, and then this guy decided to shoot Minthara. We didn't react, although probably should have, but again, I was conservative with my use here, so we decided to charge instead as a reaction. This guy did get revealed and got, although he was still in Sanctuary. Yeah, this guy went invisible. He got revealed because of the fire. Meanwhile here, Krusk. He only has a +4 to Constitution, that I was checking, but he did manage to maintain concentration, which was nice. Here, I understood that we need to get to the fast layer as fast as possible and just take him out, because he is a caster and he's far away. I think if we got this situation, kind of let it get out of control, it could have kind of escalated and got quite a bit worse. Yeah, we still had our fly, which was nice, and together with a dash, I thought we could get to him. And actually, I dashed because only here I realized we still have our fly. I actually thought about dashing to him, on foot. So we did manage to jump right on top of him. Yep, we triggered a whole bunch of enemies. I did get a little bit scared here because there's a lot more of them now, and they're all gonna just kind of start pounding me. Yeah, you see them here. These guys actually only had daggers, but these guys had bows. And although they themselves don't have a lot of HP, and there's a barrel next to them,
fight.
I thought that, okay, they can whittle you down. I mean, 6 hits of even 5 would be enough. So we decided to go for this fast layer as fast as possible and try and maybe get away. Minthara was in a safe spot. So here we kind of blasted this guy, and together with Action Surge and extra attack, managed to Alpha Strike him. We then repositioned here away from those archers and kind of away from them and out of their line of sight. And also out of line of sight of the original crossbowmen up here. Meanwhile, Minthara, I thought, okay, maybe we move her as well, or we deal with this guy there. But we thought we'd get closer to Krusk. We're gonna have to cross the fire here, but we'll just get away, get under that roof. I don't know why she fell there. That's just a bug. So we thought we'd get closer to Krusk, kind of, and sort of regroup under this roof here. Sorry, guys. Oh, my mic.
Where do I go from here?
So there you go, another turn. Those guys all kind of disappeared. Didn't really understand what was happening here, because some of them disappeared, but some disappeared, but not the others. I thought they went invisible, to be honest, or somehow I don't know, disengaged from combat only to re-engage. So I thought, okay, we're gonna use this turn just to try and get closer to these guys and just blast them since they remain in combat. This guy Nightblade Mina, 36 HP, boom. Didn't take him out, unfortunately, with the first shot, just 7 HP left. Because sneak attack doesn't trigger Call of the Weak, but we did manage to take him out. 400 XP for him, by the way. And that guy was 36 HP. I think by this point, the game just kind of encourages you to just, get to level 12 ASAP, because it knows you're in trouble if you're not. 400 XP for that guy. I mean, I guess you do need 24,000 to get through level 12, but still. Yeah, so Minthara, meanwhile, we decided to just bring her closer because we expected those guys to start running out of that gap because they had daggers, and we would then bombard them with shots from Minthara and from Krusk. There you go, they went away. So it seems like if you get rid of the fast layer, the rest of these guys just run away. I was expecting them to actually come back. I thought that because they didn't die and they won't really ghost, right? They were real people, so I thought we would just continue to get ambushed as we walked through this fortress. So I decided to do a quick sweep for any loot and just see if they re-engage. just to make sure they don't come back in a later fight. I was, yeah. Sorry guys, when I actually recorded this, I thought I would just do a voiceover like as it happened, but to be honest, I don't really recall what I was thinking exactly in the moment. And you know, kind of, it's very difficult to pretend, so I'm gonna kind of do a review episode instead. So I'm kind of gonna say what I was thinking. I sort of remember broadly what I was thinking. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to look. I've you know, watched a few of the episodes that I've recorded recently. And to be honest, I could have played everything better, but you know, we'll do that next time. We got the next. Well, I'm excited about the next playthrough, and we'll definitely do things better there. Because even with so many options that we had here, I feel like, you know, I had the wrong mindset, and I've already talked about it in the comments. With the Great Old One Warlock, especially, and control spells, we really should have used them a lot more, even if they weren't, you know, guaranteed. But, you know, it is what it is. We played how we played. We got what we got. So let's wait and see what the outcome is. But here, yeah, I was a bit confused as to where to go to next. I didn't expect it to be through this door, but then, you know, I kind of peeked through this for any ambush, and clearly, yeah, this bridge and that ominous looking door at the very end looked very much like a temple of Baal that we were looking for.
The Lord of Murder shall perish.
You know?
And in his doom he shall spawn a score of mortal progeny.
Yeah. So here, to be honest, my thoughts here were that it's been a while since we had like an insta-death event, and just generally before this episode, I was kind of preparing for any like super traps.
Chaos will be sown from their passage.
Super traps or dialogue options that would just end you straight away. I was very wary of that. Any ambushes here, so I decided to just kind of go to the right-hand side, take, you know, hopefully just like an easy route here. I thought there would be an ambush here because of the high ground. I thought there's, you know, very likely to be. That's, yeah, I left Minthara up top here. Not sure who this Alondo is, to be really honest. Maybe that was someone from Baldur's Gate 1 or 2.
Well, that ends not as bad as it could have.
Sure, yeah. So I've left Minthara, you know, on the high ground and decided to proceed with Krusk. I mean, we do have alert on both, because we got alert on Krusk and Elixir Vigilance on Minthara. Obviously an ancient sigil there. Yeah, so we wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, yeah, I didn't want to be in like a bad position.
Not now.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Minthara
I
up
am veiled.
with us. This doesn't look like there's an ambush. Or if it is, it's gonna be down there.
If not over, then through.
We decided to just kind of get in there.
Londo did not see. He did not know. He did not revel in the glory of what is to come.
Some gold and a smoke powder bomb, always very nice.
Watch how you go. There's a trap.
If it is for the best, at your command.
Yeah, we're
Right,
going
what
to
now?
bring Minthara back, and that's exactly what I was talking about, that there's going to be some nasty traps. I was expecting more of like, you know, really hard to disarm traps, or one that would just like insta-kill you.
Be wary. This place is trapped.
So we held Minthara back here while Krusk cleared the way. We got Gloves of Thievery on. We didn't even switch to, I think, Gloves of Power.
Wary. This place is trapped.
I always forget to do it, and that's why I hate switching items. Try to stay away from that as much as I can. Perception failed. I wasn't sure what that could have been.
Be wary. This place is trapped.
Yeah, we had to bring Minthara up for the perception check.
Quick march.
We kind of thought the pattern would be the same. So we played, so she also failed, however.
I've got a
Baldur
long
back.
road ahead.
It must have been in the middle there. Sure. It's kind of the same pattern. 2 plates with like a vent, 2 plates and a vent.
Be wary. This place is trapped. Watch how you go. There's
Didn't
a trap.
expect this trap. Yeah. Then I was expecting a trap on the staircase. But it seemed fine. Yeah, we switched over to Gloves of Power.
What now? Gaining ground.
Brought Minthara with us, carefully sidestepping that trap. I'm pretty sure it was a vent. Just like you know, the rest on the others. Kind of part of the bridge. Yeah, and this solid door quite obviously
I
meant...
hate to rest while our enemies still draw breath.
Love Minthara's voice lines. Yeah, but we took our short rest just for the final prep. Because I was certain, yeah, once we entered this, probably would be where Orin would be sitting. We got all the gear, we got all the consumables. I mean, we were ready.
Seals this chamber against the world. The Baal amulet trembles in frightened awe.
Yeah, we didn't have time for examining any religious examinations, so we just pressed the amulet against the door.
Will you return once you cross this threshold?
So what I forgot to mention, guys,
Our
is
enemies still draw
I'm not sure.
breath.
I might try to upload the.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
I tried to upload the the video with
Light on my feet.
no voice background as well. So then you can play it in and have like good quality video and play this video in the background. Well, I guess you can't because you would have the same sound. Yeah, I guess that won't work. Fine, forget it. Yeah, sorry, I kind of evaluated. I thought you could play 2 videos at the same time and have the voiceover from one video, but you would also have all the other kind of, all the music and stuff. And I do pause this video from time to time.
I believe
so
Orin
anyway.
first made an incision in the upper left clavicle.
Yeah.
I am afraid I must disagree. Orin's first cut was quite clearly the throat. But was she not toy with the victim? Why begin with a death blow? A properly cut throat does not kill right away. It bleeds.
Yeah, so here it became pretty clear that, okay, we're gonna face Orin down there. I wasn't a fan of going down into this pit with all these assassins, like, on the high ground. Very scared of them, but, to be honest, I didn't know. This is obviously a blind playthrough, so I didn't know how to approach her. So this seemed like a decent enough way. I was trying to just get closer to her to try and examine the situation.
Spread carnage like a pox. Priests poisoning congregations.
We've got these 6 Reapers of Baal around Orin. All, I think, Sanctuary, it said. Got to examine Orin. She's a level 12 humanoid. 200 HP, not too bad. 20 AC, again, not too bad. 20 AC plus 6 from Dexterity, so she's obviously, a high Dex assassin type character. Got plus 10 to saving throws in Dexterity, plus 4 in Strength, plus 3 in Constitution, which is, we can work with that potentially, I thought. Yeah, Strength, we kind of work with plus 4. Plus 3 from Wisdom, which I was surprised about, plus 6 from Intelligence. I guess so she's clearly a rogue, just like us. Charisma plus 4. So, decent saving throws on, mental. Wisdom, charisma could be targeted, constitution could be targeted. She does have legendary resistance to incapacitation, so plus 10 bonus 3 times. Which I thought, is not too big of a problem because we could hit her quite a few times with coated weapons, with like a mucus, and get that out of her with different poisons. Did have Ambusher, plus 1 to initiative rolls. Crimson Weapon, when you make an attack with the offhand weapon, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the attack, which basically means 2-weapon fighting, right? Basically. Did have Dark Vision, so up to 12 meters, didn't really matter. Evasion, your agility lets you dodge out of the way of certain spells, so you'll have, she'll take no damage from spells that she succeeded Dexterity saving throw, which ruled out pretty much any Dexterity spells because she already had like massive saving throw to them. She's got to exploit the weakness. Creatures hit with this weapon receive vulnerability to piercing damage, which is massive. You know, fast hands gain an additional bonus action, so she at least has 3 attacks, 1 main hand and 2 offhands, and her offhand hits just as hard. So pretty terrible. Immutable form, spells that alter someone's form have no effect. So she gets +5 to, I guess, polymorph and banish. Improved critical, obviously 1 down, so she would crit more often. Sorry guys. Sorry, just my mouse being moved here by accident. Yeah, so legendary action, Murderous Retort. Once per round, Orin can use her legendary action to immediately strike back at her attacker. If Deathbringer's Legacy is active, uses Deathbringer's Assault instead. So this is very much like Sarevok. So basically, you know, you would multi-attack here. 7 strikes that each deal 3 to 30 piercing damage. So about 15 on average. And I thought together with the fact that she will hit us and give us a vulnerability, this is absolutely deadly, right? So it's about 100 damage on average, maybe 200 with vulnerability. Huge, so we could not allow her to do this. I don't know, and I was thinking of ways to avoid that. Didn't have any good ways, to be honest. In 200 HP, it is possible for us to alpha strike her, so I thought there might be possibility of that happening. But yeah, pretty scary, to be honest. I was kind of getting ready for this fight to be our last, but you know, I'm glad we got this far. And you know, what happens at this point. Magic resistance has advantage on saving throws against spells, so again, spells are very hard to land. Opportunity attack, perfect sentry, prey upon the weak. This weapon deals an additional 1 to 4 piercing damage against targets with 50%. The hit points are fewer. This was the least of our worries. This extra 2 damage there. Reliable talent didn't really matter here because it's about for ability checks. So I don't think that matters in combat. She takes 1 less bludgeoning damage from light armor. And she's got uncanny dodge. This is a massive issue, right? So your lightning quick reflexes protect yourself when an attack hits you. You only take half the usual damage. I think that's once per turn. But still, she could have did uncanny dodge against like a massive crit from us. And a sneak attack or something. Although no, those would be 2 different damages. But yeah, a pretty tough foe. You know, I kind of thought she would dish out a lot of damage. She's not, you know, she's not invulnerable. She doesn't have any resistances, for example. And not too much HP, not too high AC. So, you know, I thought we had a chance. At this point.
Made a right mess of his hand.
So I decided to kind of
peeled the skin from it myself.
Move up to her as close as possible.
I dropped him outside
do our
the fort.
final pre-flight checks.
To his nasty little spies.
But ultimately, you know, it's a blind run, so we just had to go in. We had to go in with what we had. There was no opportunity to surprise her or sneak up on her. I felt like this is you just have to walk into the cutscene and, you know, take it as it is. I decided to move Minthara up to as close as possible for that alpha strike. You know, it is what it is. I think like we could have moved up her, like, yeah.
In your name.
Like I moved her up as far as we could. I was pretty sure the cutscene was gonna kind of start once we crossed that first staircase. Yeah, so with that, oh yeah, actually we decided to summon Scratch, because, you know, it's a big boss fight.
The tale of my first
you know, we haven't really used him before, but I think he deserved a spot on the team. And, you know, we kind of gotten used to him. You guys told me down in the comments that he can help people up, so it's kind of useful. At the same time, if the enemies targeted him, they would, you know, they would kill him pretty quickly, so didn't think he would be too useful, but I thought, okay, we kind of need everything we could possibly get in this fight. Yes, I was debating whether to do it or not, but I thought, okay, it's fine. I think it's still on theme with our duo playthrough, because, you know, it's not a game changer. It's kind of nice to have, not really a game changer. We killed Justice Arbok, did not become assassin. Yeah, we should be careful as we approach here. Yeah. There was nothing else. We just need to, yeah, rescue Orin's victim was actually the quest.
More and more. more seek his sanctuary.
What to do?
The shadows fill with malcontents. The Murder Lord welcomes them
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
Hush, hush.
So we take the plunge.
I hear footsteps trip-trapping on the Murder Lord's stones. It refused the Murder Lord's command and comes crawling into his sanctum with the tyrant unpulped. I know what you did. Spilled my grandfather's crimson. He was mine. He showed me how to slice and slit. He guides my dagger still. Oh, did it think it could protect? Did it think it could save? Only the blades can offer salvation.
Yeah. Pretty grim. We thought that deception here would work. Gortash is dead. I left him rotting on the roof of his fortress. We did have +8, but I thought the DC with this would be massive. And, you know, I doubt she can be deceived that easily or intimidated. Anything you do to her, I will inflict on you in 100-fold. It also seems like we care about the, you know, this Yenna, the child, which we didn't. So I decided, in my wisdom here, to go with her fate is of no interest to me and kind of, you know, show her some balls, show some gut that we can be ruthless as well.
And she is Bars.
But yeah, Orin meant what she said. She does belong to Baal. And here I realized that I think this was a massive mistake, because this would be counted, I think, as an offering to Baal and probably give her some massive buff. So I insta-regretted my decision here. I don't know if that's true still, but I think it is.
Oh, sticky sweet, but nothing special. Just like you. Oh, your murder should have been exquisite. A crypt-born effigy to greet Baal's bleeding dawn. And now it will be nothing. Come to me, Father. Set my flesh to your unholy purpose.
Yeah. This is the moment I knew I fucked up, as they say. So this beast, yeah, and actually one thing I said just before we went into the cutscene, I thought, okay, everything I probably know is probably gonna go wrong once the fight starts. And I was like, yep, it all went wrong. And I think it's because we let her kill the child. We're just gonna turn the sound down a little bit here. I think it's because we let her kill Yenna, is that she turned into this absolute monster, slayer form thing. So yeah, we decided to make kind of a, you know, a reassessment of where we are. And things were looking bleak here. This Boon of Baal, I was a bit confused. Got legendary action Baal's Edict. I was a bit confused by what that is. We obviously did have two guys here, these Death's Head of Baal. Oh, this one had the Unstoppable 3, so 3 hits would be negated. I didn't quite, yeah, so I decided to actually read what it says. So it's a level 12 monstrosity, 238 HP, 18 AC, so I thought 40 HP extra. 2 AC less, interestingly. A lot more strength. Less dex, not that by that much, but by 4 dex, so -2 to that saving throw. It's still massive though. Right, so she got +4 to her AC now. That was quite interesting. Yeah, constitution-wise was the same. Yeah, all the mental saving throws was the same. So I kind of thought this is basically like shape-shifting for druids, right? So because I think you keep your intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and the strength, dexterity, and constitution come from whatever you shape-shifted into. She still had all of her notable features, which was tough, right? Slayer's improved extra attack. You can make 2 additional attacks. She was basically a fighter now with 3 attacks of her own. Pretty insane. this thing is scary, guys. I mean, it's brutal, really. But yeah, so this is the main thing to note, though. She does have 3 attacks now. The Sanguine Lash here. Once per round, Orin can use her legendary action. Oh, sorry, didn't finish reading. Yeah, but the Sanguine Lash, we have to kind of read more about, because that will be key. Once per round, Orin can use a legendary action to Sanguine Lash after being attacked. If Orin does not use her legendary action in a round and is not dueling her opponent alone, Baal's Edict is placed on a creature. I didn't quite understand what is not dueling her opponent alone means. And I still don't, to be honest, because it says if she doesn't use her legendary action, i.e. if you don't attack her, and if she doesn't Sanguine Lash you back, then a Baal's Edict can be placed. That I understood. But I didn't understand what in a round, and it is not dueling her opponent alone. So I kind of thought we are a duo with Minthara, so we're not alone. Or is it about her being alone? But why would she be alone? Because she always has these, like a whole temple of Baalist cultists. So I was quite confused by that. I think I still am confused by that, to be really honest. But Sanguine Lash here, guys, 8 to 64 damage, so about 30 on average, slashing. Sweep a warped appendage in front of you to bleed targets and knock them back 6 meters. Dexterity save, though, you know, we would have saved from this and taken half damage. But still, a good 15-30 damage every time we attack her, plus bleed on us. Which gives us disadvantage on Constitution saving throws and makes us, like, lose a couple of HP every turn. Which is not great either. It's also a sweep, so I did note that it would be an AoE effect. But yeah, Slayer was pretty scary. Now, this Boon of Baal has a legendary action, Baal's Edict. If Orin does not use a legendary action this turn, the Dread Lord places a creature under Baal's Edict. What is a Baal's Edict? Well, if you don't kill another creature before the end of your next turn, you will die instantly. Instantly. So this kind of tells us that we have to hit Orin at least once every turn, because Baal's Edict was not really an option, right? Unless we could engineer somehow, like, certainty that we could kill an enemy next turn if we wanted to. Since she was now in Slayer form, I decided to read up on her as well. We just noticed that she's got Unstoppable 12, which is absolutely insane. You know, I didn't notice that at first when I was talking about, like, just HP and AC, but Unstoppable 12, we need to hit her 12 times. 12 times. Now, we did have the Magic Missile plus Scorching Ray, so Magic Missile would get 5 of those charges off. Scorching Ray from Minthara would get 4 of those off. And then, you know, another Magic Missile maybe would get 3. So it's not impossible to get those 12. I think we only need, like, an extra turn to get those off. But it's still really annoying, though. And what's annoying is that we need to deal with everything else here. So these guys did have an Aura of Murder, which made it vulnerable to piercing damage. Now, the Slasher actually does slashing damage, which I noticed in the end. But it was still a little bit scary. Yeah. Yeah, but Sanguine Lash, yeah, to kind of double-check my understanding of it. And debating between Baal's Edict and Sanguine Lash, I'd rather take the Lash. I think I understood that. This guy also had Bloody Favor. Baal's Chosen would be granted a profane boon at the start of every turn. They also have extra attack. So my thought was that because there is 6 of these Baalist cultists around, I thought they are the priority, actually, because I thought they would grant... Alright, guys, give me a second. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Sorry. Give me a second, guys. I need to find the right spot again. Sorry for jumping around, guys. Yeah, but Bloody Favor, Baal's Chosen will be granted a profane boon at the start of every turn. Sorry, I accidentally pressed something on my keyboard and moved the recording forward. Yeah, so I thought because there are 6 of them, they would either grant her a boon every turn, and I thought they are the priority because we need to take them out. Because otherwise she would get 6 boons, and I thought maybe each one would be like sacrificed each turn, and she would get so much more powerful. But she seemed quite powerful, but not impossible. And I thought it would be a mechanic kind of similar to the Inquisitor, whereby he gets like more powerful every turn. And so I was kind of debating here, what is the priority, you know? Obviously it's not Orin, because she's, or the Slayer form, because she's got Unstoppable 12. Maybe those two guys that are around her, so they've had unstoppable 3 because they would also hit hard as well. And the other guy, I was pretty sure was a caster. Or is it these Baalist cultists? Because if we took out, you know, each one, she would get fewer and fewer buffs. We did have normal scrolls of magic missile with just 3 charges, so that would be enough. You know, that would be one action that could take out that unstoppable from that Baalist Reaper there. I thought that could be, you know, an opening action from Minthara. You know, we'd take out those three charges of unstoppable. Then I was thinking, how do we kill these? Because they're all sanctuary. So really the only way was to like do a lot of damage to them, and the cloud kill could do it, but it would take several turns for us to do so. That wasn't like the bad idea, but yeah, at the same time, those guys would move out of that cloud, and Krusk needed to be close to them, so it wasn't the best. A wall of ice would have worked, I think, on those 3, because annoyingly they weren't even bunched up. If I moved Minthara, I think it would have been able to do that AoE damage on 3 of these. Again, it would have taken like 2 or 3 turns, which I wasn't like too excited about, because I thought that every time we end the turn, they would give her a boon each. That was kind of my running theory. We did have obviously the Frozen Fear, but none of the AoE here was kind of wide enough to break, you know, to kind of break these guys, break a few of them at the same time, and break them quickly, or kill them quickly. But those were kind of the options here. Let me just check. Yeah, okay, we are recording, so that's all good. Just double checking that, because yeah, we're already an hour in. I can't believe it. For me, guys, this kind of flies by, just like the Merkel fight. It flew by in an instant. Might actually turn the sound down just a tad more. I'm gonna keep it up. But yeah, that was my debate as to who should be the priority. And you know, I thought Krusk could get, he couldn't actually get to the Baalist Reaper. But he, with a dash, yeah, he either needed to use his bonus action to get there, or Minthara could use her bonus action to give him, what is it, the branding, soul branding. That would have given him enough, those kind of 4.5 meters, to get kind of in between Orin and that Baalist, and at the very least stop Orin from coming after Minthara, because Krusk does have the periaptive wound closure. He's got higher AC. He also sends people reeling when they hit him, so he's overall more survivable. So I wanted him to kind of tank all of this while Minthara casts some spells to, you know, affect the situation and maybe get rid of these Baalist, these chanters, the ones that I thought would be giving her boons. So yeah, I kind of settle on the idea, I think, of, yeah, targeting Death's Head of Balfustian first, because she only had 100 HP. We could Alpha Strike her, according to my calculations. Yeah, Krusk is still kind of debating as to what's the best way to kind of deliver Krusk there. Because the other option was for Minthara to take a potion of speed and gain 2 actions. But I thought I'd see, I think, how the situation was going to develop. So give him that soul branding, give him that extra damage as well. You know, it won't hurt. And so we decided to kind of, run in there.
Time to press ahead.
For the moment. Run in there and get on top of this Reaper on the opening turn. I was kind of debating, I think, also how to get rid of them, because the other way, other than killing them with damage, I think it's here I realized that another way of dealing with them is to throw them off, right? Because we are fighting on a platform here, and I kind of started thinking, okay, what ways do we have to just get rid of them? And we did have the smoke powder arrow, which does a lot of damage in AoE, and also does push the target back, but not by enough, only by like 3 meters. So I thought these two, maybe we could push these two kind of at the same time. But I just couldn't find a way. Like, it was only one target at a time, whereas we could just use our Alpha Strike and get rid of this Death's Head of Balfustian straight away. We had this repulsor here, which targeted 3 enemies. It would only, if it did hit, it would throw 2 of them away. And so we decided, no, we decided to skip it. Because it is low DC. I don't think it's ever actually worked for us. You know, and it was kind of a debate here. Do you take out Death's Head, like ASAP? Or do you, you know, or do you use this opportunity to just blast as many enemies as possible with that repulsor? I did think that I could maybe like just inch to the left a little bit more and try and target all of these. I was also keen to get my Shield of Thrall popped in the middle of all these guys, try and stun, hopefully, you know, as many of them as possible. Yeah, here I was just kind of checking, like, will it? The problem is it said 10% chance, but I didn't think that that was a real, you know, a real chance, because it's a strength save. These guys didn't have a lot of strength. Yeah, neither did this guy. So I thought that 10% chance, I don't know why it says that. Don't know how it calculates that, to be honest. It's a weird one. You know, I'm not a big fan of tadpole powers. But we did have a bonus action, so we could take a potion of speed. Which we could take a potion of speed, do a repulsor with 1 action, and we'd still have our, you know, attack, extra attack, and action surge in case the repulsor failed. But I did think the opening was very important here. And I thought there was a lot of value because we had a high certainty that we could take out this ballast. But yeah, but the potion of speed and repulsor was kind of also worth a shot. So, you know, difficult debate. Yeah, I could have used that extra bonus for, you know, a good crit on that ballast to make sure we finish off. Because if we did do like 4 attacks and didn't kill her, for example, we could definitely kill her with 5 attacks, i.e. attack, extra attack, action surge, attack, extra attack, and bonus action. Definitely kill that ballast. But if we kind of got her low but didn't kill her, it would have been pretty terrible. But I think I decided here, yeah, I think I was kind of debating, because that repulsor, that chance to repulse them was, it was enticing, right? Because they did have very low strength, you know, so it would have been at least like 50-60% chance. I don't remember what the DC on that repulsor is. I don't remember if I looked it up afterwards, but it's really annoying that, you know, the weapon actions don't tell you what the DC is. Like why wouldn't you? Because this 10% kind of confused me. But, you know, if it worked, it would have been a game changer. And I thought this fight was, I thought we were kind of set up to lose this fight. Yeah, I kind of recognized that straight away. But yeah, like, this is very tough. As a duo blind, I decided to go for it. This is always bugged, so this is, you know, I wasn't too worried about this. Like, it always takes time, and boom. Yep, and here's where things started to go wrong. We did manage to get one of these cultists off the platform. Did nothing to the others. We did get 1 stack of Unstoppable off, which I was glad about. But at the same time, we took a Sanguine Lash. Nobody got stunned. Honestly, pretty terrible outcome overall. Just terrible. We lost, what, 10 HP from, and an extra... We lost massive HP. Yeah, 41 slashing damage she did to us with that Sanguine Lash. So huge. Absolutely huge. Not worth at all. It could have worked. It could have worked, but it didn't. Yeah. And to be honest, what really annoyed me was the fact that that we took so much damage. Yeah, we had decent AC because we got +2 AC from Shield, from Potion of Speed itself, right? So we decided to go with Plan B and just go all in on this Death's Head. We got a good, I guess, a good crit on her, right? But no, sorry, we didn't get a crit, but we got a good attack. We got a good damage with that Shadow Blade, but it wasn't a crit, so we decided to hold off on the sneak attack Again, it's a 99% advantage. Didn't get a crit either, so decided to hold off. Yeah, we had to do action surge at this point. Yeah, another attack coming in. Again, no crit. I was really pissed here. And there we go. We did get a crit, but the crit alone was enough, so we never even got a chance for the sneak attack. I decided to go for it anyway, because we couldn't trigger it this turn. It didn't really matter all that much. We were 76 HP. Things were looking dire. We did have +2 AC now from motion speed, which was nice. I decided to position ourselves close to this guy so that at least we get an opportunity attack off on either Orin or this and the other invoker guy, or at least give him disadvantage on any ranged spells he might do. Oi. Yeah, so we did manage to get this guy off. That was a positive, and we did kill Death's head, but we were very low in HP. Not a good opening, guys. Not a good. I mean, it was okay. Okay opening, I guess. But yeah, that 41 Sanguine Lash, that lash hurt. I'm not gonna lie. And with Minthara, I thought I would step back as far as possible so that Orin is not tempted to do some weird, jump or leap to me, because I expected that she might, or she even would run. I just really wanted her to prioritize Krusk. Because even if he also had the Relentless Endurance from his half-orc, obviously raised, so if he did go down, there's a chance he would come back up with 1 HP. So yeah, far more survivable than us. In terms of the initiative order here, you see we got lucky and we did win initiative with Krusk and Minthara, but Orin acted next, and then it was Scratch's turn, but he was way too far away to get him up. I also was afraid that if you do move him closer, he would just, he would be killed. I prioritized. But with Minthara, I decided to go as far as possible to kind of keep her safe. Orin here goes ahead with that massive multi-attack and an attack. It's absolutely crazy. She missed a lot, but she still hit us for like a good amount of slashing damage. I mean, good thing we're at least immune to crits with our adamantine armor. That was some consolation. I noticed that Scratch, I never used him before, but I noticed he could hide, so I was debating whether I dash and just get kind of close to Krusk in case he does go down, but not so close as to make him an enticing target for enemies, right? Because otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't mind him taking 1 turn of damage. But Invoker of Baal switched, because I didn't quite understand what he did, but he switched positions. Benign transposition teleport with one of the cultists. So I decided to... Actually, I was debating, do I do the backlash? At this point, Orin was not going to move, so we weren't going to get any attacks of opportunity. And he was casting slow. So I decided to do it in an attempt to break his concentration. Didn't work because it actually lands, I think, earlier than he cast the spell. I forgot about that. So we are now slowed with Krusk as well, on top of only having 37 HP. We were also incapacitated because when we got slowed, it obviously didn't sink in the Sarevok fight. Obviously didn't have time to read your comments, guys, but because we got slowed while being hastened, it effectively removed haste, and we now became lethargic. And things just went from bad to worse here. We could do nothing. We had 37 HP. Yeah. As you guys can tell, it wasn't looking pretty. It was not looking pretty at all. It was, I didn't learn my lesson. That was entirely on me, to be honest. Could I have expected that they would cast slow? Not really. I mean, this caster was here. Maybe I could have, because Baalists were clearly fan of this slow spell. I should have been a fan of the slow spell, let me tell you that, with Minthara, but I wasn't. And I paid the price. So yeah, I was, to be honest, like, cursing here. There was a lot of emotion in this episode, guys. A lot of emotion. It's such a shame that it didn't get recorded, but I was like, fuck this. Just fuck this. I mean, there was a way to remove blow. So I thought, okay, and we'll have to do something, and we have to get rid of this guy ASAP. Krusk was gonna go down, I was pretty sure. So I wanted to put Minthara in a position to get rid of the cultist, because we did have Eldritch Blast, right? So I was pretty sure with 3 hits, we would have hit him once and threw him off the platform. So now we had the task of getting Minthara back into action on like the other side, and the only way to do that was to use this Misty Step, really. I don't think there was any other way. I guess we could have also used a Potion of Speed on her and kind of ran in the middle, because I was kind of trying to gauge as to, you know, what range our Eldritch Blast had and how far we had to move. But yeah, we definitely couldn't get it with just her normal movement. But yeah, we could have taken a Potion of Speed, gotten closer, but I was afraid that we'd be like right in the thick of it. So I didn't want to do that. I still wanted to keep Minthara like away so that the Slayer focuses on Krusk. And maybe he survives, you know? Or he goes down and then we revive him after. But yeah, I was kind of reading up on slow. It was a little too late, but I was reading up as to why, and I think I figured out at this point that slow, you know, when it slows you out of haste, i.e. breaks haste, as you guys, you know, kind of told me in the comments later in the previous video, it, you know, as long as the person loses haste by any means, he gets lethargic. So we decided to go with Misty Step plus Eldritch Blast. At least that did remove slow. Obviously didn't remove lethargic. And what I didn't notice also is that Krusk actually got Contagion cast on him. I also didn't notice that he was bleeding, and that means he had disadvantage on Constitution saving throws. And Contagion, it seems benign at first, because you need to pass like 3 saving throws. So I kind of ignored it for the moment, to my own peril. But yeah, I was pretty sure Krusk was gonna go down. I was hoping Scratch would bring him up. Okay, we did get lucky, and Krusk actually, he didn't even have to come up. He literally was left there with 1 HP, guys. 1 HP. By the grace of, I don't know what god. Because, yeah, we clearly turned on all of the gods. But yeah, so Krusk was alive. He was still in the game. What was Scratch gonna do? I thought we would, you know, there wasn't much for him to do. So I just kind of reassessed what Krusk was up to. Again, didn't think much of Contagion or Bleed, although I did recognize, actually no, I did recognize that Bleed, when his turn starts, he was going to bleed out, because that 1 HP, he was gonna lose it to Bleed, but he would come back up though. Unfortunately, it was kind of a waste of his relentless endurance. Here I realized, oh no, and actually we got Ball's Edict as well, yeah. So a few things I realized that, yeah, we did bleed out and we did come back up because of relentless endurance with 1 HP. That was a positive. We did get Ball's Edict on us because we didn't hit Orin in the previous round, right? Because Krusk was lethargic and Minthara decided to focus on the Invoker. That means Krusk was about to die instantly, or unless he killed someone, which was extremely bad, but at the same time, the silver lining here was that he was gonna die anyway, right, with 1 HP. So I thought, okay, how do I make the most use? Not really sure what I was looking for there. Yeah, I was kind of thinking of ways to, to push people. And I thought of, okay, we do have Arrows of Roaring Thunder, which never really did much for us, to be really honest. But I thought, you know, that's a possibility. Again, I didn't remember what the DC on these is. To be honest, to me, it sounded like most times they don't work. But, you know, we did have attack and an extra attack, so we had 2 chances. There was no way to push both of these back at the same time, unfortunately. Unfortunately, there wasn't such a way. So I decided to, at least get rid of the Ball's Edict. If we did manage to do that, we could heal with Krusk. He did have the parry up, so he could heal with a Supreme Potion for 60 HP. So, you know, he had a chance. We also had Minthara out here. And I was kind of thinking, what can Minthara do? She did have this... should have this scroll of Thunder Wave, which could push people back. And another thing I was thinking about is I think at this point I realized that the boon Orin was getting her Unstoppable refreshed to 12. And so I realized, okay, we do need to get rid of these guys as a matter of priority before we deal with Orin. The way to get rid of them is either damage or pushing them off. Damage, it's very hard to do AoE here, or, you know, and hit both of them. And there's no AoE spell we had that would take them out outright. So I thought that actually taking him out with Krusk, given he has extra attack, is the best way. We decided to go for this guy. The reason we went for him is because I thought it would be very hard to get an angle on him with Minthara, whereas from where Krusk was standing, you could get a good angle on these guys right now. And these two that are right next to Krusk, I thought, you know, Minthara could take them out later with a Thunder Wave. Whereas these guys are all like, you know, standing there on their own. So it didn't really matter. Like this guy especially had like a very tough angle on him. So I was kind of searching for that pixel, and there was a pixel. There was a pixel that worked, so I decided to, I think, take a chance on him as well. Luckily, he didn't resist. They do have very low strength. I don't think I actually looked up what the DC on those arrows was, but I mean, it didn't really matter because we didn't have a lot of choice. So yeah, here comes the Potion of Supreme Healing. And I just double-checked that that is absolutely the biggest potion we could have. Yep, and Superior was up to 40 HP. So we went with Supreme. And yeah, started to drink that with Krusk. Yep. Get 60 HP. You know, we still had a chance. We still had a chance. We still had a chance here. We still had a chance. Remember what I was looking for. Yeah, we did have that Elixir of Universal Resistance. So I was kind of thinking, is it worth getting rid of the... Cloud Giant Strength and drinking that elixir, because I knew we were going to get pounded with these multi-attacks by Orin. So if we could get a resistance there, it would have been great. But the thing is, we didn't have a bonus action available, unfortunately, because we had to heal. Right? And, you know, there was no point in drinking that if we were going to die anyway. It was only point in drinking that elixir if we somehow found ourselves at full HP.
My victims await.
Which I did not see a way for us to do. Because if we were at full HP and we drank the elixir, we could then take less damage and continuously heal and keep it up. Whereas if we, you know, took that elixir at 1 HP, we'd obviously just die and lose it anyway. Right? Because you gotta have HP to be able to take some damage, even if it's half damage. So yeah, the debate here was what to do with Minthara. Now we obviously had to get rid of these cultists one way or another. One way or another, we had to get rid of the cultists and we had to deal with Orin. I also thought that we didn't hit Orin on this round, which means she would have again cast Barlist Edict, and you know, we would find ourselves in exactly the same situation on the next round. Here I decided to examine Krusk and saw that we actually got Piercing Vulnerability because that Invoker, you know, teleported that cultist next to us. So not only were we taking damage, we were taking double damage. So I was certain, you know, Krusk was gonna go down. If he got hit with double damage, he would die. Right? And I also noticed that Contagion, I wasn't worried about it because I thought, well, he's gonna pass the Constitution checks. Right? And there's quite a few checks you need to pass before Contagion really does anything. So it wasn't a big problem. Or rather, I mean, maybe, I don't remember if I recognized that it was kind of a problem, but we definitely had much, much bigger problems to worry about here. Much bigger problems. And yeah, I was thinking that we have to do damage to Orin, like one way or another. We could have done Darkness to kind of try and, you know, give her disadvantage on attacking us, because we desperately needed to save, well, I don't know, do something with Krusk, because even with that 60 HP, with vulnerability, he would go down. And if we didn't damage Orin, then she would also do Barlist Edict on one of us and, yeah, instantly killed us next turn. Yeah, we did kind of have a bonus. So I was kind of thinking, do we just come up and hit her twice as Minthara? maybe try and draw attention from Krusk onto Minthara, because she doesn't have vulnerability. She's still at 99 HP. I thought maybe we could somehow get Krusk away from all of this. I also thought that I think if we took a potion of speed, we would have enough movement with Minthara to come into where Krusk was standing and actually do that thunder wave and try to get rid of these two cultists, which would let us get rid of the vulnerability and also position Minthara. I was really hoping that Orin would switch to Minthara at this point. I was practically begging her to do so. We did have Blur, so we could have also, you know, done a potion of speed, cast Blur, making her very hard to hit, and then did, you know, 2 attacks on Orin, for example. That was a possibility. But I think it was also, you know, potion of speed, move in, hit Orin twice, get the lash out of her, prevent Ball's edict, and do a thunder wave on those 2 ballists standing there. Because, you know, if he's gonna hit Krusk was gonna die anyway. If she's gonna hit Minthara would have, you know, resisted it. And if we managed to get rid of the ballists and didn't get Ball's edict, then we you know, there was some possibility. It was our last potion of speed. It was important, but I decided to go for it. It would give us +2 AC as well on Minthara, right? So yeah, I guess here I decided to go with Blur. Gotta make sure that at least Minthara survives. We decided not to do the thunder wave on the ballists because I guess, you know, debatable, but, you know, they didn't really do much other than give that piercing vulnerability. It didn't really matter when you killed them because she would get her unstoppable refresh to 12 either way, right? I noticed we did have concentrated blast, but it was obviously too early to use that. But I thought if Krusk went down as well, with Blur, we could have survived with Minthara long enough to get him back up and heal him. So yeah, here we go. We kind of strike Orin. She hits us back. We maintain concentration, but she managed to even hit us, even with Blur, which is really annoying, to be honest. I also remember that, of course, we should have been using Booming Blade, but Orin wasn't going to move, so it didn't really matter, I thought. So I decided to... Yeah, we also didn't do a lot of damage because she herself used Uncanny Dodge on us. Really annoying. But at least we got the lash out of her. And we got the lash out of her. And that's all we needed. And I thought, okay, since we're not doing a lot of damage to her, maybe we instead bring Krusk closer to us, and we throw a healing potion with Minthara as our extra action. And we heal both of us. And then we have Minthara with Blur, and we'd both be almost full HP. Because he would get healed for 60 from the Supreme Healing, and Minthara would, you know, obviously get healed. She only needed like, less than 20 HP. So I decided to throw a Supreme Healing Potion on the floor and heal both of us. I was very careful not to get Orin and definitely prioritized hitting Krusk. Yep, it did work. And there we were. You know, things were looking up at this point because we were in good position, so we were positioned to get rid of those cultists on the next turn. We had Blur on Minthara plus Potion of Speed, and which she would have been able to use. The death cultists were down, so there was no one to cast slow on us. It was just a matter of kind of tanking Orin and hoping our AC would see us through. Yeah, so we were out of the aura of murder there as well. We got rid of it in vulnerability. Got rid of vulnerability to piercing. Not sure why I moved Minthara in here, which was kind of stupid. I guess I don't remember if I actually realized what I was doing here. Yeah, so here she goes for Minthara, and that was great. She did miss with her Slay, which was great, which also caused... That's what actually I only noticed now that's what caused Contagion. Again, she rolled a 23. The OSC just wasn't high enough, even with Blur. So I decided to, yeah, sure, why not? Let's pop shield. Good as time as any. And so yeah, overall pretty decent turn. Unfortunately, Krusk failed the saving throw on that contagion, and that moved up to stage 3, which I didn't really pay much attention to at the time, although I should have. But to be honest, there was nothing we could really do about it, sadly. Very sadly. Scratch here, again, I was kind of playing that game of not getting him too close so that he's not, the enemies aren't enticed to hit him, or Orin, but he's still like close enough to actually bring someone back up if they did go down. Okay, here the turns kind of went back to us, and I thought, okay, this is the turn where we must get rid of these Reapers. We must get rid of the Reapers. We also had to hit Orin so that we get the lash out of her. We obviously had that Thunder Wave. I mean, Thara has pretty good spell DC, so this was an obvious choice. We could have gotten 2 of them. Yep, gotten rid of 2 of them at the same time. So yeah, no brainer, and it worked. 2 Reapers out, only 1 Reaper left. That cost us an action.
Nothing will stand in my way.
Anyway, we were full HP. We were full HP at this point. Minthara had blur. Things were looking up, guys. Things were looking up. I mean, this fight is a roller coaster, guys. An absolute roller coaster. Take a shot with Krusk. Again, get lucky. Get lucky, and here we are, guys. We got rid of the cultists. There's no more Boon of Baal. She just has 12 Unstoppable. That's kind of what we had to work on. The lash didn't even matter anymore. Here is where I notice Contagion poisoned, right? So affected entity at disadvantage on all attack rolls. Now, luckily, we'd still have advantage from being obscured, or the target being obscured, so that kind of compensated. So the disadvantage didn't really matter. However, there were other things. Now, here I decide to go for the 5-point magic missile to start shaving off that unstoppable. One thing I didn't realize, however, was that it's not counted as a spell. It was an attack, and because we were standing up close, it counted as an attack, and it did give us a Sanguine Lash, which we didn't have to take here because it didn't matter anymore, right? The Baal's Edict has gone away because we got rid of the cultists, so this was kind of completely unnecessary. It was nice to take away, I guess, her reaction, although it was legendary action. What was scary is that she also pushed us away, and to be honest, if we were standing in a slightly different spot, she could have pushed us off the ledge here. So I almost had like a 3rd heart attack during this fight when this happened. We did do a bonus action on her, just to get some more of that, another stack of Unstoppable off. I was kind of confused as to why, but I did figure it out. It's because we were standing up close, and that magic missile, I think, counted as a weapon attack. Maybe it's always true that even if you do a spell attack, as long as you're standing close and they can retaliate, they do it. But yeah, frustrating. Not what I expected. I thought we would avoid that lash by using that spell. Anyway. I guess I kind of looked through here as to why. She also did, the Sanguine Lash also did AoE damage, so again I messed up, and it actually did some damage to Krusk as well, because it's a sweep. So again, stupid me for standing so close together. Anyway, so here I'm kind of thinking, okay, I need to move away with Minthara, make Krusk the primary target again, because he's the one that can actually heal effectively. We did have Scorching Ray, and I wanted to make sure we're not standing too close to Orin so that we can actually use the Scorching Ray, effectively without a disadvantage, and that would bring 4 stacks off of Orin next time. But she only had, how many stacks? I didn't notice, but she only had 9. She had 9 stacks left. Oh yeah, that was another thing I was confused about. I was really confused about the fact that, yeah, we didn't even manage to get 5 magic missiles off. We only got 2 magic missiles off before her legendary action kicked in, and she gave us the lash. So we effectively missed on a whole magic missile worth. Yeah. So she only took... So I was really annoyed at this point. And suddenly, things took a turn for the worse. So we took 40 40 in damage, 20 of which we didn't have to take if only we stood on opposite sides of her, right? We only got 2 magic missiles off of her, or off on her instead of 5. We almost fell off the platform. Krusk was having contagion, which I now started to realize what that actually means. But yeah, but here I kind of go get bless, heal with Krusk and get bless with that bonus. So I thought that was the best use, and I thought, okay, let's try and start to chip away at her. You know, we didn't have any fear of the lash. It didn't really matter here. Didn't really matter. And
I thirst for combat.
yeah. And Tara still had like only 1 turn after this with only 1 more turn with Potion of Speed, so I thought, okay, we need to plan for the next turn. We need to get away, do as much damage as we can, and then be in such a position that when she goes lethargic, she's not like an enticing target for Orin, which means she needed to get away as well. Krusk, I think I was thinking was gonna stay here for any attack of opportunity. In case Orin decides to move. We kind of get an extra attack on her with an opportunity attack and get a stack of Unstoppable off. We did have Scorching Ray, so we could get 4 points of her Unstoppable off quite easily. Although Magic Missile would be preferred, because Magic Missile doesn't do that much damage itself anyway, right? And all damage from Unstoppable is also reduced to 1. Whereas a Scorching Ray, I thought, could have actually been useful later on, because it does fire damage, and it does actually do decent damage itself, with every shot dealing about 6 on average, whereas Magic Missile on average does 3. I think that's 2 to 5 each, right? So I thought, okay, we'd get away, and then next turn, I think my plan was, or my thinking was, I could do 2 actions, and I could do 2 Magic Missiles on her and get 6 stack of Unstoppable off her with Minthara, and then I'd go lethargic, and that would be that. I could also get an offhand on her, although I'd need to heal before we go lethargic, so that if Orin did move towards us, you know, Minthara had a better chance of survival, because you do maintain concentration while you're lethargic, so she did have blur on her. I was hoping that that would help. We also got bleeding on Minthara, which I don't think I noticed, but that was gonna, you know, make her do a concentration saving throw every turn. She does have advantage, and she's got massive, I think, a +10 at least to her Constitution saving throw, so it's very hard to throw Minthara off, but it was still a possibility. So I decided to kind of step away, not move away entirely just yet. And with Krusk, I was kind of debating as to where we should go. Don't remember why I decided that this would be the better option. I thought if we went down, I wanted him to be close. But again, I messed up, and this thing had this piercing growl that again did another 20 completely unnecessary damage on us. Again, complete mess up on my side. I played this so badly here. Things were looking so good when we were full HP with Blur and all the ballists out, and I messed it all up here, guys. I messed it all up. I was swearing here. Like, there was a lot of emotion, I have to say. I was like, fuck this game. I mean, to be honest, that was all my mistakes. But yeah, we go for a Supreme Healing, because when we went lethargic, we did one of that full HP to at least give us a chance of survival. And yeah, I thought the best course of action here was going to be to just pop 2 Magic Missiles, have all of that damage reduced to 1, but ultimately get the stacks, those stacks of Unstoppable off, you know, as efficiently as possible. I don't know what I was thinking here. I thought, yeah, maybe I do the Scorching Ray, but I thought, no, Magic Missile is the way to go, because they each do 2 to 5. That gets reduced to 1, yeah, whereas Scorching Ray does 2 to 12 each, so it was 4 hits, which was nice, but we did have, you know, extra attack and an offhand with Krusk, so I thought it's better to hold off on this one and do more damage later. We did also have Eldritch Blast, that would have also been kind of free, and we thought we'd get 3 stacks off, and then Krusk only has to do 2 hits to get the last 2 stacks off of her. And I was kind of thinking, is there another way? But, you know, there was no other way. Yeah, and also, yeah, another point was that Scorching Ray was 65%. because I did actually think for a second that maybe that was the better way. Yeah, but it was possible to, you know, not land Scorching Ray at all, which means we could have easily gotten 3 or even fewer stacks off with that. So I thought I'd save that for when we get to high ground with Minthara, and maybe there will be a better time to blast that. Here, you know, I had dual wielding on, so I decided to, I think, hit Orin. And there was no other, there was no real options really, you know. But I decided to maybe hit her once and then turn on dual wielding for the extra attack. Got a critical miss here. Guys, a lot of emotion, a lot of emotion. Boom. Yep. So if we hit her with an extra attack, you could still turn on dual wielding. But I was thinking that if she hits me back, I'd rather heal than do that extra attack, because we knew Minthara would be lethargic for 1 turn. So we had to do everything to be as survivable as possible. Because yeah, we were about to like do a lot of damage. So with Minthara, I was kind of looking for a spot to go as far away as possible from Orin, while also not be somewhere where she could throw us off the platform and just insta-kill us. But also not so far that when we did come back from our lethargy, we would actually be able to re-engage with combat and potentially raise Krusk if he did go down. While Minthara was lethargic, because he now had to survive for 2 turns. So we decided to kind of move with Krusk a little bit closer. Then I realized that, okay, but what if if we stand and she does this growl again, and hits Scratch again? I messed up here. I didn't deserve it, but she did miss. What I was trying to do is, yeah, move away from a cone so that Scratch doesn't get hit. Took a completely unnecessary attack opportunity. Lucky that she missed, you know. But again, me messing up. Mistakes. Again. Boom, she hits us for 43. Does her multi-attack. And still moves off. So we do get to land a attack opportunity and even a sneak attack on her. She then does her relentless lunge. Yep. Gets Scratch with it. I actually thought she was going for Minthara, which she actually still was. Minthara wasn't lethargic just yet, so she could do her charm on her. Which she did. But then she went lethargic. So now, I don't even know if that was a good idea or a bad idea, because now I realized we were stricken with flesh rot. We were rotting in our own body, and we were now vulnerable to all damage. It was insane, right? Just look at it. I was kind of wondering how on earth could this have happened. We did have, yeah, we're now vulnerable to everything, guys. That is insane. Absolutely insane. So I thought, you know, what the hell? And then the thing is, with Contagion, you have like 3 stages of it, or at least 2 stages, and you need like to fail the saving throw 3 times, I think. And I was like, how could we possibly lose that as a fighter? But the reason we lost it was because we had bleeding, and that gives you disadvantage on that saving throw. And so, yeah, it didn't help. Ultimately, I thought, okay, the way to rectify this would be to consume that elixir or resistance to everything. Universal resistance. You know, and I didn't mind at this point losing the Cloud Giant's strength. However, we desperately also needed to heal. We found ourselves in the same conundrum where, yeah, we could have gotten the resistance, but we only had 22 HP. So, you know, so what that we would be resistant. And I was also desperately looking for anything that would heal us from Contagion. But I thought, okay, we at least heal up, but we don't have a spell of restoration. I think lesser restoration would have done it. We didn't have any items that would give us, so there was no way to get rid of this Contagion. No way. So I decided, okay, we have to just stand and fight and just hope that we heal every turn. And, you know, she does damage. She does miss a lot. But when she does do damage, it doubles. But I thought we could tank her. I thought we could. And I thought we didn't really have a choice. I thought she couldn't attack Minthara because Minthara charmed her, so she was gonna come for us. I was thinking maybe we, you know, maybe we hamstring her. But I thought, okay, another thing from range damage. We could do this arrow of monstrosity on her. That kind of does decent damage. Yeah, I decided to go for it. She only had 180 HP at this point, which is not a lot. Like one good turn, maybe 2 good turns, and we could have taken her down. You know? However, I also noticed that she had uncanny dodge, so she halves the damage with sending her away. Which really annoyed me here. Really. She is a monstrosity, but yeah. Didn't work, so we said, okay, let's go hamstring shot. Because if we could at least slow her down, there's a possibility she might not even get to us. But of course, she saved, didn't she? At this point, I thought, okay, that's it. Like, I mean, well, you can see her for yourselves, guys. Like, it's all over, right? Just all over. So what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do here? We can't do damage. She does double damage to us. Minthara lethargic. I thought we'd get away as far as we possibly could then, such that she spends her whole turn moving, because she can't attack Minthara because Minthara was charmed. Or maybe I threw off the charm. I actually don't remember. I think she was charmed by Minthara still. Or maybe because we damaged her, the charm went away. Yeah, she received. Yeah. It should have still been charmed by Minthara, I think. Maybe not. But I was kind of thinking, okay, Minthara is more likely to survive. So we wanted to, yeah, we didn't have a potion of speed anymore. We didn't have like a second action. We did have a scroll of haste. We had haste spore grenades. Now, this I don't remember as to why we didn't use these. Well, I guess the reason we didn't use these is because we didn't have throw anymore. Right? Because in our wisdom we used everything, but we kind of had to, because we had to constantly heal. Because without heal, vulnerability or not, we would have been dead for sure. With a heal, with 80 HP, there was a chance, you know, she would miss a lot of her attacks, maybe only hit us with 1. And there was a chance to survive. But I was kind of like, I don't know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Well, I thought, yeah. Minthara had a good chance of surviving that turn, but if she jumped on us, on Krusk, then she would have. I kind of desperately kept searching for, you know, an extra bonus or action that I may have missed, but there wasn't, you know. But I was thinking, like, how do I get, you know, 180 damage, 160 damage at this point on her, actually, you know. Because it was so close, guys. It was so close. So close. Yeah, so here I kind of don't recall what I was thinking exactly, but I thought, yeah, I think the best course of action was to get as far away as possible. The issue was that if Krusk did go down, it would be very hard for Minthara to make it all the way to him to revive him. Then I thought, no, there's no way this thing can jump like this distance. It's like 30-meter distance. And there's no way it can like jump and walk all the way. So I thought at least Krusk would be very safe here. So we decided to get away and roll the dice there. Now this thing was not charmed anymore, so it did hit Minthara. It even healed for 12. And because we charmed, it then decided to go for Krusk. It did raise these couple of skeletons, and apparently somehow it did have 2 jumps. And yes, it could get halfway across the map in 1 turn. Yes, it could. Yes, it could. And who would have thought? Who would have thought? I was livid, guys. I was livid. I was livid. I mean, things were looking so good when we were full HP with Blur and all the ballasts out, and made so mistakes here. Unreal. It's cringe to watch it now, guys. I don't know for you, when you watch like my past fights, guys, it might look like, oh, why don't you do that? And I know it's obvious now, but like in the heat of the moment, you just do forget. Because of the pressure of honor mode, you just forget about certain things. But here, anyway, I kind of thought, okay, like that's it. It's over. It's over. But you know us, guys, we don't go down without a fight. So I thought, okay, well, what options are there? We could obviously attempt to do 160 damage to her. But then we could also attempt to revive Brusk, because he would be revived with a bonus action, which means he could heal himself and potentially survive. Minthara still had the Blur on, 6 turns of that. She still had 90 HP herself. The problem was, as I was afraid when I moved, so far away with Krusk, is that she just can't get to Krusk, because Scroll of Revivify has a 9-meter range, which isn't huge. And we don't have a potion of speed, so we can't double our movement either. We also couldn't use a dash, even with a full move dash, and then use a potion of speed as a bonus action to give us an action to revivify. So yeah, although we could revivify Krusk, like it wasn't quite all over, we just couldn't get to him to do so. I was contemplating Darkness to maybe just go and hide, but casting Darkness would mean we get rid of Blur, right? And Darkness effectively does the same thing. I mean, it gives everyone disadvantage on attacking us. It would give us advantage on attacking whoever is standing in Darkness, because they would be blinded, which means you get an advantage on them. And with Devil's Sight, we don't have a disadvantage from standing in Darkness. That was kind of a possibility, but I didn't want to lose the Blur just yet. And I kind of thought ultimately it's kind of the same thing, because we weren't attacking anyone, so we didn't need the advantage on them. What we needed is for everyone to have disadvantage on us. Yeah. I was kind of thinking, could I maybe push this thing off with Eldritch Blast if I could like just find the right angle? But she had a massive strength saving throw. I thought, okay, that's a non-starter. Because I thought if I could come up to that ledge and I could blast her with Eldritch Blast potentially, maybe I could just like throw her off with 3 hits. I thought maybe I could hold monster her, but I couldn't tell what the probability of that would be. Her wisdom saving throw wasn't huge, and I was pretty sure we must have like gotten off the legendary resistance to incapacitation already, because we blasted her with like so many things, with like stun. Like she definitely threw more than 3 saving throws. So I thought it's a possibility. And again, it was the last. I mean, if we failed that, we would have been dead though. Like the next turn, we would have died, because she would have gotten on top of us. Minthara can't heal as effectively. She doesn't have the parry apt. She wouldn't be able to heal as effectively as Krusk. That would have been all over. Just double check I'm recording, guys, because watching this 2.5 monster. Ooh, it's a challenge even for me, but I have to say time flows quickly. I think this was an amazing fight. Anyway, on top of it all, whatever these skeleton ghoul things were, I wasn't too afraid of them, but it did mean that we'd have to take 2 attacks of opportunity to even get to where we needed to go. To even, get close to doing that hold monster or that Eldritch Blast or Revivify. But I thought, look, with 18 AC on Minthara and Blur, there was a good chance we were going to avoid those attacks of opportunity. But if they did hit, it would have been great. I also thought maybe we conjure an Elemental, because that would have given Orin a target. Someone other than Minthara. I also thought maybe we put her to sleep with Eye Bite. But again, we just couldn't assess the probability of that happening. And in any case, we couldn't get close enough to her for that. I thought about maybe we do the 4 ghouls. But the thing is, with her lash, I think she would just get rid of all of them. And in any case, I thought it would be a good way, even if she did have that legendary resistance left, the ghouls would have hit her each like once, and the claw does paralyze, so at least attempts to paralyze, so she would have definitely gotten all the saving throws out of her. So I thought maybe Dance Macabre was an option, but again, like those ghouls take a turn to come online, So again, not a great option. She was baned as well, so Krusk did manage to bane her, so she had -4 to wisdom saving throws. So that's what kind of gave me hope. Yep, of course, we start moving. We save our concentration at least, but we do take 10 damage. Can't believe that thing actually hit us. Yeah, there we were, and not quite close enough. I was really annoyed here. Really, we just needed like an extra like few meters of movement. Just an extra few meters. Now we do have soul branding. So I knew we had that little bit of a boost. Yeah, see, I was just trying to like find a pixel where maybe it would work, but it didn't. It didn't work. So we went with soul branding in the end, which, you know, let us kind of edge close a little bit, and here it comes, 42%. It would have also broken active concentration. Yep, 42% on sleep, and nothing was working here, guys. I thought we could have gambled and taken a 42%, you know, because it would have changed the game. It would have let us hold her for one turn. She could have still resisted it next turn, but it would have, you know, and I thought it was likely she would have resisted it. But yeah, but I was desperate. I was looking for like, okay, how do we solve this? And, you know, at this point, I think I kind of gave up on the idea of holding her or like doing anything to her. She was only at 170 HP. We've got so far, and she had 1 turn of Bane remaining. I thought, like, man, it's now or never. I mean, darkness was... I thought we could maybe even darkness up. If we could move closer, we could put Krusk in darkness as well. Because there's a possibility she would have attacked him to kill him while he was, you know, just down. Scorching Ray. Kind of thought, okay, is it possible for me to do like 170 damage to her? And maybe use Krusk as bait for 1 turn, do some damage, and then try to like maybe run or kite her and do damage. But nothing was working. Yeah. Because even if we got him up, he was still vulnerable. He still had contagion. So I thought maybe it was better for him to die as well. I contemplated that. If he died, maybe that would have gotten... I know he gets rid of all your elixirs and stuff and spell, like, you know, like Longstrider and stuff. But I think it probably gets rid of contagion as well. But I really wasn't sure. Yeah, here I kind of again contemplated, yeah, let's just take that 40% gamble. I thought, no, there's gotta be a better way. Gotta be a better way. We didn't come this far to only come this far. I was like, think, Immersioneer, think. Yeah, and I thought the 42%, maybe that was bugged. I was trying to figure out, like, does she have this resistance? She also has this magic resistance to any magical spell, to be honest, +5. So, yeah, that was that as well. I thought, okay, this is like the last action we take. So it was very important. Very, very important to do this right. Here's again, I thought, okay, it's 80%. If I could just get an angle on her, like there is a possibility to throw her off that bridge. I thought, okay. Is that possible? I kind of started looking, okay, what scrolls do we even have? Started looking, okay, like, I mean, we're desperate, like, there's gotta be something. We had Scroll of Disintegrate, but that would have never done enough. I thought maybe if I moved closer to Krusk, I could do Dimension Door. Ray of Sickness, Thinking Cloud, it would prevent her from taking actions, but when she moved out of the cloud, I believe that she would be able to take her actions again. I thought, yeah, I was desperate. I was looking for anything. The Scroll of Sunbeam, again, breaks concentration, does decent damage and blinds the creature, but again, it's not enough to kill her. It's 6 to 48, so on average, it does 24 damage. Nothing to her home. I thought maybe I could wall her off, but she's clearly like jumps. She's got like at least 2 jumps in her. So I thought she'd just jump over it. Then we had the Hold Monster spell, we had Haste. We could have cast Haste on ourselves to like give us another action, and maybe I thought maybe give us 2 actions that we could just try and kind of kite her and blast her in the future turns. I thought this Crown spell do some necrotic damage on her, but again we weren't close enough. And I was afraid of using all my movement and coming too close because I was still kind of contemplating whether I could find the right angle for Eldritch Blast. But also I thought if she could spend that turn attacking Krusk, then we would have bought ourselves a little bit of time. We had this Scroll of Artistry of War, which is pretty good, so that was around 70 damage we could have done. Right? I thought, okay, we do that. That's basically like 100%. It's a magic missile, so we could have done 75 damage. She would have had 100 HP left. And, you know, it wasn't impossible for us to deal that 100 HP to her next turn, especially if we did like haste, for example. We would have given ourselves an action this turn, done this Artistry of War, and then next turn, if we survived, we had 2 actions. Maybe we could have blasted her with a couple of spells. And, you know, there was some possibility of blasting her with Minthara. Then we see here, Scroll of Bestial Communion. The Diva can cast Wrathful Smite, Revivify, and can cast Smash. And I thought that Diva was actually pretty hard to fight. And I thought, yeah, instead of summoning an Elemental, let me summon this Diva. And she could that Diva could either Revivify Krusk, or at least soak up some damage. And I thought, look, this doesn't require concentration either. So I thought, hell, let's kind of go for it. Put her in between us and Krusk so that it's a more enticing target than us. And here it came. Here's the Diva, 136 HP, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, they don't get to act. That's really annoying that the summoned don't get to act on the turn they're summoned, which means you kind of lose your action, basically, right? Because you spend your action on summoning them. So there we are. I decided to move closer. Boom, this thing moves away. I was glad they did some damage. We got the Sanguine Lash out of her. It was also positive. This guy missed, so I decided not to react. Actually, I mean, I thought there's nothing to lose, so we might as well react in case they have extra attack. Might as well. The Diva also got pushed. Fortunately, she didn't get pushed off the platform, and she's now close to Krusk. So yeah, we did have a chance. We did have a chance here still. She did have Revivify, and she was close. But in my wisdom, I thought, okay, she does have Wrathful Smite, which does decent damage, and it gives, possibly frightens the target, and gives it disadvantage and stops it from moving. And it's a wisdom save, so I thought it's a decent chance that it will hit, and it's 60%. And I thought, yeah, compared to any attack Minthara has, this actually wasn't a bad option, because Minthara would have enough movement to Revivify Krusk, I thought. So I thought if we moved around, we'd be better off Revivifying Krusk with Minthara rather than this Diva, which was a mistake. It was a mistake because if we Revivified here Krusk with Diva, we could have then used a throw or even 2 throws to heal all 3 of us with some Supreme Potions and get Krusk back to full HP. That was the right play. However, you know, things weren't so bad, so I decided to make this interesting, right? No, I was just... can't believe how many mistakes I made in this fight. But again, guys, it's... You know, and look how much time I take to think everything through, and I was trying, okay? But it's just tough, like, you know, the adrenaline's pumping, like, I don't know this fight, like, I was so emotional with all these, like, misses. And, like, the more you mess up, the more emotional you get angry at the game, rather than getting angry at yourself, and you start making more mistakes, and it just snowballs into complete chaos. And the pressure, I thought, like, come on, it's just this fight. It's one more fight with Gortash, and then it's the end of the game. Like, I at least have a chance at the shot. I have a shot at the end of the game. But instead, like, I'm dealing with this Orin here, and she's only 160 HP. Like, I know it's possible. If I had, like, one spell just to bring Krusk to full HP right now, we would win. Like, this is not the problem. But the problem is I mess up, and, like, we have to keep spending actions. You know, we're kind of behind the curve here. We keep having to spend actions on, like, Revivify and heals, rather than actually doing just spending a good turn of damage on her. But what you're gonna do, the way the game is, I was thinking, okay, what's the good approach here to, you know, avoid getting too close to her. And we decided to take this attack opportunity and kind of loop around to the right of Orin and try and revivify Krusk, but not incur an attack of opportunity. And again, and kind of have some movement speed to actually get away. Basically, I end up spending practically all of my movement speed. I do get Krusk like far away. Not that it matters, because this Orin, you can just move around the battlefield and she can like jump and do a growl. She has so much, like this didn't really matter.
Nothing important is ever easy.
But Krusk was up. At least that was a silver lining. He was up. Contagion didn't go away, unfortunately. Again, still there, but I thought, okay, we gotta take that supreme healing here again for even a chance at survival. Even a chance at survival here. So I thought, yeah, it's only 60 HP. It's not even that much. Yeah, but I thought, look, this is something. He's got Bless. She might miss him. He's still vulnerable, so I thought, okay, let's get away with Krusk and then heal him up next turn, because he could do like arrows and stuff. He could survive, and I was pretty sure Minthara would be able to survive as well. I thought, okay, Krusk needs like a turn to recuperate, because we could just recuperate and like just re-engage, even with the vulnerability. If we could just re-engage like properly with Krusk, with full HP, we could then do attack, extra attack with crits and sneak attack, while healing ourselves with the bonus action. Like we could do it. On the other hand, Diva, I was really hoping she would block. I wanted to put her in a position where she would become the primary target for Orin and those skeletons. Again, an attempt to move Minthara as far away as possible. And I thought, okay, she needs to heal up too. So she would be like target number 2 for Orin. But she had full HP, she had Blur. So again, she actually, I was pretty certain she would survive if she got attacked, so that wasn't an issue. And I was also hoping, yeah, making Diva the primary target, because that had some potential there. And if we could land this smite, that would have been huge. We did land it, however, it didn't do any damage. Did get the Sanguine Lash, but the important thing, we failed to smite her here, and she did only take like half damage because of her uncanny dodge. It was really annoying.
Time to push my luck again.
And so yeah, we moved in there, hoping for attack opportunity if Orin decided to move away. The Diva has still had 103 HP, so things were looking okay here. Yeah, again, the uncanny dodge. I don't remember it being this effective when I was playing a rogue. I don't know. The game's rigged, guys. The game's rigged. Game is rigged. But anyway, the problem is though, we keep doing like one attack per turn, which is what's letting her get away. She healed for 16 because she's got the... Actually, I'm curious why she healed for 16 there. We decided not to react. Sanguine animations. She gets 2 more of these. And yeah, because even though we didn't charm her, because I was hoping that would mean she wants to go for Minthara rather than Krusk, but she decides to hit Minthara, still hits her, and then still threaten Krusk. So yeah, the AI is doing a very good job here, and I swear they've improved it in patch 8, guys. I swear. So here we are with Krusk, still have Contagion, so we're still very vulnerable. Here I thought, okay, got 160 HP, like we're never getting away. So I thought, okay, maybe we just go all in and try and finally deal that 160 damage. Because like we keep playing this game of like just about surviving, and it's not really working well for us. Right? It's not working well. But I thought, okay, what's like the max damage we could do? Now, Disintegrate is a dexterity save. She's got massive dex, so that's kind of a non-starter. We had Fireball, also dexterity. The Orb, also dexterity. So here I started looking, okay, what do we have that's not dexterity? And yeah, we did have the Scroll of Artistry of War. Where the Sunbeam again, that would, again, the same story. I was kind of just feverishly looking through all my scrolls again. That would lose us concentration on Blur. Also does only 24 damage. Does blind the target, but again, we'd have to spend, you use that like for like, you know, 10 times. So not 10, but like 5, 7 times to kill Orin. So that wasn't really as thought. We had the Scroll of Dethrone, 30 to 80 necrotic, right? So decent. Then I thought, look, I think our only chance here is just to go all in and try to just blast her with everything we had. Yeah, I was thinking, to us, I'm thinking now, would she get Uncanny Dodge on her first attack? And did we actually manage to draw that out?
Nothing.
I actually don't remember, but I think even if we did, it wasn't intentional. But yeah, but I was kind of calculating, okay, how much damage would I do to her? How much damage could I do? Because I had attack, extra attack. I did have that, bonus attack on Krusk, which I could either use to heal for another 60. But again, with vulnerability, that HP didn't really matter much. Or I could just go for one more attack, one more crit, and every little bit counted here. Because, she only had 160 HP. It was theoretically possible to blast her and kill her. Yeah. Gotta come to Slayer form. Yeah, I kind of read everything again. Yeah, there was nothing positive here. All the same things. Yeah, she got the extra attack. You see, like, the damage she does is just insane. And, like, she's got this multi-attack, and then I think she has then 2 attacks. I think that multi-attack counts as just 1 attack. Like, it's just crazy. If there was a possibility of just losing Krusk here, but as long as she spent all of her attacks on him, if we could manage to blast Orin, on this turn with everything we had, and even if she was left with 50 or less HP, there was possibility to blast her again next turn. But then I thought, okay, maybe it's better to give Krusk a chance to survive, because if that one bonus offhand attack wouldn't have decided the outcome, whereas having 100 HP could have potentially let Krusk stay alive, and that means next turn we could kind of continue our all-in, basically spread our all-in over 2 turns rather than 1, because I thought, no, we're not gonna do 160 damage, so we do a good crit here. And then again, I had a 4th or 5th heart attack here. When we did get the Sanguine Lash, which was unfortunate, it also did massive damage, 59 points. It did throw us off. I mean, it could have easily thrown us into a chasm. And again, I knew that could have happened. I don't know why I didn't think of it, because I'm a doofus, that's why. We did get -1 slashing from Magical Plate. That's silver lining, but it's still, she did massive damage. Look at that. 8 to 8. And that was just, that was average damage, to be honest. She did up to 64. So she did middling damage. It just doubled because of vulnerability. So here I thought, okay, is it possible to blast her off? But because she now took high ground, it was not possible. Well, I mean, it was possible, but it's impossible to hit her. That was the problem. I thought, okay, we did do decent damage to her, though. With Krusk, we also got a crit and a sneak attack in there. So I thought, okay, let's blast her with this. I wanted to save this for the final fight, but I thought, okay, this is... we're so close. Got 130 HP. And that was a good blast. This was a game changer, guys. 14, 15, some good damage. Really good damage. Right? Really good damage on her. Together with our, I guess, I don't know, was it charisma modifier, I guess? But yeah, she's down to 52 HP. So I thought if we could just survive one more turn, yeah, it became, you know, it's conceivable that we could have blasted her. Now, the issue we have is all of these. I mean, we kind of tried to ignore them, and they had obviously don't matter too much, but they do matter. Like, these guys do hit for 10 damage, and there's 4 of them. So I decided to just do a little healing. We didn't need the Supreme here for sure. But I decided to heal with Minthara. Get kind of close to Orin. Because, again, I wanted Minthara to be the target, ideally, rather than Krusk. I also decided to, again, continue with the strategy of just trying to heal and make sure that Krusk stays alive for that one more turn where we just go all in and do everything we can to kill Orin. Because 50 HP, there's, you know, a good chance we could do 50 HP of damage in one turn. In fact, it's almost certain that we could do it. So I was looking for a spot here again. I decided to heal and look for a spot
lies before me?
where, you know, we're not so close that some AoE attack hits both me and Minthara and we don't get blown off the platform again. Again, ideally, I would have liked her to go for Minthara because Minthara had Blur as well and didn't have vulnerability. I was kind of looking, okay, do I maybe move away with Krusk to make him, you know, less of a target? But then I thought, no, okay, I'm just going to stand in the middle here and just attempt to yeah, soak up the damage and get ready for that next all-in turn. The Diva here, again, I kind of thought, okay, if I could even take those 3 attacks of opportunity and just fly, and just give myself a chance and just do that smite on Orin, if I could just land that, that would have been huge. Because these guys, I could neither kill them, nor really incapacitate them, but I decided to, okay, maybe if we could at least, you know, kind of incapacitate or like fear one of them, but even that we missed. It didn't matter. So the Diva's job was there to just to block those guys, block their, you know, or at least give them an attack opportunity. Okay, Krusk again gets hit with 39. She misses all of her multi-attacks, which was a godsend, but she does still land another attack at the end. A massive attack. Diva soaks up the damage here, so things are looking good. Things are looking good. These guys weren't bothered with us. We decided to charm. Again, I didn't remember if they had extra attack. It didn't really matter. Like we didn't have a good use for our reaction anyway. Now, Krusk did manage to survive with just 24 HP, but he did manage to survive. So again, the question here is, okay, do we go all in? But the thing is, if we go all in with Krusk here, we do one attack. She does Sanguine Lash and kills us before we do it. So the smart thing would have been to heal first and then do attacks and draw out that Sanguine Lash. That would have been the smart thing to do. What did I actually do though? I don't quite recall. Yeah, again, I was contemplating, okay, do I drink that elixir of resistance? But again, I thought, what's the point? We need to heal. I could have done, you know, healed myself by throwing like a potion at myself. But I thought, come on, 50 HP. Like, all we need to do, just get on top of her. I thought, okay, even the Diva will survive those 3 attacks of opportunity, even if they all hit. So I thought, okay, let's move over and do that smite. If she could land that smite, then we would definitely kill it. Right? It's only 50 HP after all. How hard can it be? How hard can it be, guys, right? How hard can it be? 50 HP. 50 HP. We got 90% to hit. I thought also about, like, you know, disengaging and like just shooting arrows at her, which we actually could have done. I didn't think of this at the time, but we do have with the rogue, right, with the assassin, we do have the disengage from a bonus. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I should have actually done that. Disengage with a bonus and blasted her with like 2 of those explosive arrows. Even that could have killed her, to be honest. But I was just, I played this terribly, I have to say, especially now that I review it effectively. We played that terribly. But we decided to take those attacks of opportunity from those ghouls and go for this attack. Of course we miss. Of course. Missed. Didn't get the lash onto Diva. So we decided kind of, okay, maybe we track back and move back to
Your command.
the ghouls, but we didn't have enough movement. I thought, okay, what if we do the Scorching Ray? That could have done a good chunk of damage. 8 to 48, so about 25, 30 damage. However, we can't land it because this guy is standing next to us. We are threatened. I was kind of thinking, okay, how do we all in this thing for 50 damage? A Cloud of Daggers could have come in handy. It takes a whole action, but if we did manage to get it in, it would have done 20 damage straight away. Then again, like due to like panic and excitement, I couldn't quite figure out whether it would also do damage on the start of her turn. I couldn't remember. But I thought if it did that, it would do 40 damage from Cloud of Daggers. And then if Krusk could just land even one attack, he does land. Right, he does land the attack. Didn't do a whole lot of damage, unfortunately only 8 because of uncanny dodge. So still not enough to kill her with Cloud of Daggers. And again, this debate went through my mind. Do I just all in? Do I do a second attack and then hope for the best? Or do I heal again with a throw?
Ready for battle.
And hope to all in her next time? But I thought like the longer we delay, the more chance she has to like do some crazy damage, right? By hitting like more of her multi-attacks, which she's been missing, and then like move on and like, potentially like stand next to Minthara, and then we won't even be able to blast her for 40 damage. So again, I was kind of debating. Now also these ghouls were free to move because we moved the Diva away, and they would definitely go for Minthara. And we didn't have a Misty Step even anymore. I don't think we would have a scroll of Misty Step at this point. We did have Dimension Door, but I didn't think of that. And Dimension Door takes a whole action, so you can't Dimension Door and, blast someone from a distance. So here I go with a trusty, and also casting Cloud of Daggers here means we lose our blur, which kind of also means we kind of go a little bit all in here. So I was kind of contemplating, but I thought, yeah, 40 damage is all we need to do. And I thought Minthara could survive without blur. I thought she could, and we could run away with her. So yeah, I decided to go for it. Boom, Cloud of Daggers, 14, not the best damage ever, but she's now down to 29 HP. And I was thinking, okay, what do I do here? I guess option was an offhand attack just to chip away at her. Or Soul Branding on Krusk to give him that movement in case she does move away. And give him that fire damage as well on his attack. Because Krusk had, he could either throw a healing potion and heal himself, or he could do one more attack. We decided to again go with the option of just surviving, because when we have 100 HP, even though she hits us, we do tend to survive. So again, we kind of contemplate. It's a 90%, so we were very likely to hit her in crit, which even gave us a possibility of killing her. Like there was potential to even kill her here. Whereas if we healed, there was potential that she would kill us and then move on to Minthara. But ultimately, she didn't even need to kill the Diva. She could have just moved on. Like she can kill both of us at the same time, in the same turn. I believe she's that powerful. So we decided to go all in with Krusk. Yeah. Was it the right decision, guys? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. We decided to do damage. Didn't do a whole lot of damage because of Uncanny Dodge. I believe it's still Uncanny Dodge that's kind of annoying us. Maybe it like spreads on extra attack. I don't know. It didn't really matter. Like the point is we were out of actions. She still had 20 HP. I didn't know if Cloud of Daggers actually did the damage at the start of her turn. I couldn't remember, and I couldn't rely on it, therefore. So I thought, okay, maybe we just try to move with Minthara. Like, we're not moving away, but I wanted to move somewhere where we could gain high ground for that Scorching Ray at the end, as our last ditch attempt, and gain high ground so that we increase our chance to hit. Because if we did hit well with the Scorching Ray, that would have killed her next turn. We also couldn't really get away because she could still get on top of us. And also I didn't want to kind of move to high ground, but move in such a way where she could like lash us off of this platform completely and insta-kill us again. So again, difficult terrain here. Difficult terrain. I thought maybe I move away from her. Maybe I block these. I didn't know if I move this up these stairs, will these ghouls go for Krusk and finish him off, even if she misses him? $20 HP, guys, that's all we had to do. 20 HP, we just needed one good turn. But Krusk was definitely gonna go down on this turn. That was like, that I thought was for sure. Diva is kind of useless anyway, so does that even matter? So there was only Minthara, but even she could have been damaged by Slayer, I was thinking, and she could have been damaged by these skeletons. Because once Krusk goes down, I mean, she will be their primary target, and you know, if each one of them does even 10 damage, and Minthara doesn't have blur anymore, if she does 10 damage, that's 40 damage, that's half of her HP. I kind of thought, do I move away from these ghouls? Do I move towards them? Do I try and run? Can I run? Do I go like invisible? I don't know. I was cycling through many things, but I wasn't really leaning towards running away because I thought, come on, we can do 20 damage, surely. In the end, I decided to just stay right where we are. She does get damaged by Cloud of Daggers, but she also healed, annoyingly. Annoyingly, she did heal. She did smack Krusk twice as well. Although he still held strong. And he wasn't quite killed. He was down, but not killed. Down, but not out. And exactly what happened, exactly what I thought, is that these guys gather around. They all do a little bit of damage. They do enough. Now this bitch, okay? This bitch, Orin, actually does heal from whatever that thing she has. I don't even know what the hell it was. And I was surprised that, because we should have killed her with this Cloud of Daggers right here. According to my calculations, we should have killed her. Right? But the problem is, she constantly has this uncanny dodge and she also heals. Right? And what does she heal? Because she's got that silly, like, gore thing. So here I was kind of thinking, okay, do I again revive Krusk and just heal him and just again? But you see, we're constantly behind the curve here. And I thought, okay, maybe we just try and delay again, but all we're doing is delaying our death. Because ultimately, and especially at this point where Krusk went down, we could have revivified him, he would have healed, but that's still nothing. It just sets us up for further damage later on. Right? Because all we need to do was 22 HP here. However, the situation was so dire now that I thought, look, not only do we need to do 22 HP, we also need to make sure that these ghouls don't kill us afterwards, because if we survive with like 1 HP, you know, they're still active. I didn't know if they would disappear when we kill her because they're so summoned, or that they would still be there. Concentrating Blast was a good option. It was 100%, and we would have healed ourselves and hit her pretty hard. However, we would have broken our concentration of Cloud of Daggers. Which I didn't want to do. I also thought about Eldritch Blasting her, which would have probably done some damage, and through her. And I couldn't remember whether, you know, putting her through the Cloud of Daggers, if she flew through it, would that do an extra like 10 damage to her? If it did, if I had certainty of that, I would have done it, because that would have ended her. However, another issue with, and you see, I tried Scorching Ray here, because Scorching Ray should have gotten her low enough, could have either killed her or gotten her so low that even if she healed for a little bit, she would have been dead from the Cloud of Daggers next turn. However, the problem with either Scorching Ray or Eldritch Blast at this point was that because we moved Diva, these ghouls were able to, or skeletons were able to move on top of Minthara, right? And she was now threatened and therefore had disadvantage. Oh boy, guys, there was a lot of swearing. Like, I didn't hold back. I didn't hold back in the episode. I mean, what a bitch, honestly. I mean, that's kind of what I was saying. I was like, fuck this game. Fuck this game, guys. This was intense. Intense, let me tell you. This was intense. Even now, guys, I hope it comes through and you feel like the intensity. It's such a shame the audio didn't record. But I was just cycling through like, what else can we do? What other move? I mean, it was looking so well when we got the Diva summoned. Oh. 20 HP, I thought, no way. Like, no way, we didn't come this far. And we did actually manage to salvage the situation when it looked lost like twice already, right? I mean, all we needed to do was 20 HP. I mean, come on, we're level 12 characters. I don't remember what I was thinking here. But I thought like, yeah, maybe like blasting with arrows, maybe, I don't know. I kind of understood that we needed to get away from these guys. And I thought, okay, do we have Misty Step? Anything to just get away from these guys. But okay, or like what could guarantee us like a good damage? So I thought this, the Scroll of the Throne, you know, that's a guaranteed 30 damage if we land it, right? But it's a 49% to land because of the saving throw. Right? I think it's a Constitution saving throw, that one. So again, that doesn't work. AoE would have killed Diva and Krusk. Something like Fireball. Again, Fireball, it's not going to do necessarily... Well, Fireball actually would do 22 damage, I would believe. And actually, she would have saved with Dex, and actually it's likely could have done less than 22. I was kind of... I did spot here, finally, that we have Scroll of Global Invulnerability, and I was like, oh my god, why didn't I use this? And I've never used this spell before, so I didn't even know how it works. So that kind of gave me pause because I wasn't sure, but I thought, okay, if we do put the globe down, we definitely will survive. Because, you know, Krusk can't die, Minthara can't die, Diva will move in there as well, and we just spend time healing. But I was also afraid that Orin would likewise heal from her 22 HP, because she does heal per turn as well. And I was, to be honest, I was so far in, again, it's like this episode's 2.5 hours, that I thought, you know what, let's just get on with it. Like, that's it. I'm not gonna do a global invulnerability. Like, there is a way, there must be a way to do 23 damage to this thing. There's gotta be a way. Gotta be a way. But you see, I mean, we also had options of, again, reviving Krusk, healing him, and just trying to delay all of this and just have one more good turn where, you know, where she would, you know, get healed, get hit by Cloud of Daggers, but we are whittling her down. And, you know, Minthara could withstand another 3 hits by these ghouls. And, you know, if Krusk got revived and healed by 60 HP, there's a possibility he would have again and been able to take another one of those multi-attacks from Orin. But then next turn, we would be pretty much exactly the same position, just with Minthara having like 30 less HP from being hit by the skeletons. But here I was still debating maybe we do a Globe of Invulnerability. I was kind of thinking like, what else is going to paralyze her, do anything to her? But now I'm thinking we had potions of sleep as well. Could have even put her to sleep. Although these ghouls would have woken her up. So I thought, okay, maybe I go invisible. Actually, no, this was my... Yeah, I thought I don't have Misty Step to avoid attacks of opportunity. So yeah, so here's why I devised the way. Yeah, so, sorry, the last kind of minute was me debating how can I get away from these ghouls without incurring attacks of opportunity and still be able to blast this thing with a good kind of accuracy, either with Eldritch Blast or with Scorching Ray. And I thought, because I didn't have Misty Step, I thought, okay, if I do a Potion of Invisibility, that will allow me to move away. It also gives me advantage, actually, right? And here's what I decided to go with. It gives me advantage on this. And I thought, okay, 91% I must hit it. I now realize that actually probably gives you advantage only on the first ray, because you should lose your invisibility after the first ray. I was debating, okay, I'm not gonna get high ground, really. I didn't want to stand on those steps in case this thing does turn around and like smacks me and flies me off the platform. So here we go. Boom, guys. Ultimately, the Scorching Ray was what sorted this out. We did do 4, 10, 4, and 10. We did 28 fire damage. We needed 22. But that is how close this came. How close this came. Now, we still had these guys to deal with, but I know I wasn't too fast about them. I kind of thought, yeah, we should survive them. Yeah, so I thought I'd kind of get close to Krusk, maybe. I mean, Diva still had Revivify and her hit. But yeah, guys, we did beat Orin. And I hope you watched this whole episode, and I hope you watched it like without skipping, because honestly, I think it's probably one of the best / worst fight I've had in Baldur's Gate so far, I think, because this just... I mean, you saw yourself, there was at least twice where I thought we had the upper hand, and then the upper hand went to back to Orin. We did make a lot of mistakes. I recognized that at the time, and now that I watch it again, I actually think we made like 2 times, if not 3 times, the mistakes we actually did make. So here we just go with Revivify on Krusk, because yeah, we tried to body block these. We're hoping Minthara will block the other ones. We even thought about, you know, blocking the other 3, even if we have to take an attack of opportunity from that one guy, and that's what we decided to do, because it's those 3 guys that matter, not that one guy. So we block these, and our turn.
Can't even catch my breath.
Krusk has the bonus action after being revived, so we decided to just again find that supreme healing and yeah, get that HP up to 60. He's still vulnerable to all damage, so gotta keep him nice and safe. But here it didn't matter, so I thought, okay, I run up here, and I did have like a, I don't know, the 10th heart attack here, because I thought these guys might turn on us now that we've killed Orin. But it seemed like they remained yellow. At the same time, they were kind of in the dark there, if you can see in the top right of the minimap. So I thought, okay, I'll kind of move a little bit, but I didn't want to like trigger them into a fight. I don't remember what I decided in the end.
On your command.
I think I decided maybe to just stand there. Yeah, okay, I decided to block this guy with Minthara.
What now?
And Krusk was just gonna, yeah, kind of move in a little bit, just to avoid triggering those guys in case they could turn hostile. Yep, move Minthara here, a little closer to the other ghouls for the next turn. Okay, now we started doing our saves. These guys miss. That was all good. We obviously don't react with the charm. Didn't really matter, and that's it. I mean, from this point on, I don't think this was an issue. This was just a mop-up operation. Here you go. Tara hits this guy. This guy. I don't know if he's finally gonna land anything on anyone. No, he's at 90%. Bone's frightened, decent damage. Yep, he can just continue soaking up that damage.
Let me strike.
Just stay away from them. Finish them off kind of one by one. Still had the extra attack. It didn't really matter if we closed in.
Let's go.
I was a little bit apprehensive that, you know, those guys at the top again might like enter combat like a turn after Orin's died. You know, something like that. So I was a little bit wary of going all in. I was just trying to be, you know, as cautious as possible, but it seemed like they weren't gonna come into combat. I decided to just move in closer to the platform.
On your command.
No need to be anywhere close. No need to go too far. Again, bleeding. Takes a shot. Drains this guy. Another shot.
Touch me.
And here we go, Minthara. Boom.
Metallic tone fills the air as the Slayer's form is drained. Blood to blood. The child did not survive to witness your triumph. All life within her was extinguished by Orin's blades. But you still live. You have robbed another god of his chosen.
Yeah. Stand back and admire. Job well done. Reflect on your technique. It could have been better. Examine the blood with dismay. This will take forever to come out. Yeah, I think it was definitely number 2. But I decided to, I think, give myself a pat on the back. Stand back and admire. A job well done. You know, at the time, I didn't think we actually did that badly. But now that I'm watching it again, I think it was definitely number 2. Reflect on your technique. It could have been better. For sure, guys. It's a number of... It's a tough fight. It's a very tough fight.
A glint of light on something in the blood catches your eye.
It was a tough fight. We made it even tougher.
Another stone.
But you know, that's why we play honor mode, guys.
Will be delighted to hear of Orin's death, but be ready for anything when we report to him. If he is to betray us, that would be the time.
Seek him out. He is all that stands between us and the Elder Brain.
Yeah, guys, that's why we play honor mode, though. You know, it's because it's so, and that's why I say like these, like the builds on YouTube and like the way people like record the single videos. It's all clear when you when you don't have the emotion or like of the whole playthrough on top of you. But you know, just like in life, like you know, I obviously know, but like that, you know, now that I'm watching it like calmly, I know, oh yeah, this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. But when you're in the moment with the pressure of the like 100-hour playthrough that you post on YouTube, that you know you might lose in a moment, like you know, you just forget. Like you forget, like I forget what scrolls I had. We should have definitely used like invulnerability. Like we had the wrong sequence of actions. Positioning was wrong. Like we made this more difficult for ourselves. I'm glad though. I think what I would commend ourselves for is that I did figure out. I think the opening was good. I think killing those Baal cultists was good. Arguably, maybe we should have prioritized the mage because that slow and that lethargic turn completely messed us up. I'm glad, I guess, well, I realized that we need to get rid of those Baalists. I would have realized it sooner or later, but it's good that we did that sooner rather than later. And we didn't waste a lot on getting those unstoppable stacks off of Orin because she just got them refreshed. We got lucky with those arrows of thunder working. To be honest, I think like they never work. But they worked, and we did manage to knock those Baalists off. And then yeah, fighting Orin, yeah, that could have gone better. But again, blind honor mode run, guys. What you want, this is how it is. Like it will never be perfect. You know, the second time I play, obviously I'll be more prepared. I'll do better. But still, like you know, well, why I play this way, precisely because of that. Because it's honor mode, and trust me, even if you do this second or third time, considering you took like 100 hours to get here, and you're posting this, and like you don't want to end the game right there and then. Okay, that was the end of the video. Yeah, you know, the pressure just gets to you. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry about the audio. I'm hoping to upload this and post this today because I just had this idea of re-recording the audio this way today. Anyway, we beat Orin, guys. We now have our way open for Gortash and beyond. Let's see if we can tackle that. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.